UAPSA National Election 2021 Meeting the Avance. The live event will start in a few minutes.
Good afternoon, UAPSA, and welcome to the virtual meeting, the Avance 2021, live here at the official Facebook page of the United Architects of the Philippines Student Auxiliary. This 15th of August 2021. I'm Shalana Gainboko, a canvassing committee member and your host for this afternoon. As we wait for the others to join us and, have this virtual meeting, the Avance. Let us comment your name, area, chapter for a quick shout out. Ayan, invite your friends as well, ladies and gentlemen, na makisama po sa atin ngayong hapon in this meeting, the Avance 2021. Starting with Mr. Alfredrick Cruz, of course. Good afternoon, everyone. And Miss Kim Russell Monjares. Hearts. Ayan. So send your love, your support, your comments in our comment section. For our candidates, nako, kamusta? How are you feeling, guys? Nag-lunch na ba kayo? Ready na ba kayo for our virtual meeting, the Avance? Kasi po kami ay ready na rin. Ayan, may nagpapa-shoutout po. Shoutout to Area C District C3, EBSU Chapter. Ayan, mag-ingay mga Area C District C3. Ayan po, invite them over and join us sa ating virtual meeting, the Avance, upang inyong makilala at kilatisin ang inyong mga kandidato na tumatakbo para sa halalang ito. We also have Aljon Manansala with us. Hello po sa inyo. Shout out also to Area C, C2, especially La Consolacion College Bacolod Chapter. Ayan, good afternoon po sa inyo. From Mr. Kerwin Moresca, good afternoon, madlang people. Yes, grabe yung energy, ano? So just keep them coming, guys. Comment below for a shout out. Baka meron po kayong mga gustong i-shout out at napupusuan sa ngayong hapon na ito. Ayan, good afternoon from Miss Jean Iligan. Yan. Maraming salamat po for being with us here. So ayan, sino pa pong gustong magpa-shout out? Ayan, invite your friends and share this live sa kanila, especially to our ka-Arkies and kayo APSA as we have our virtual meeting, the Avance 2021. Excited na ba kayo guys sa ating mga viewers? So our candidates, ayan, how do you feel? Share them in the comment section below. Ayan, special shout out rin po sa mga Area A, Area B, Area C, and Area D. So lahat-lahat po. Ayan, maraming salamat for being with us. Ayan, so patuloy lang po sa pag-comment ng mga gusto niyo pong i-shout out and even your names, your areas, and chapter para malaman natin kung sino ba ang mga maraming attendees for this virtual meeting, the Avance. Now we have Mr. John Ray Liana. Good afternoon po from Bicol University Chapter. Hello po sa mga taga Bicol University Chapter. Hello po sa inyo. Good afternoon po. Ayan. So thank you everyone for your active participation mga kayo APSA. Now it's time for us to formally start our program for this afternoon. And with that, please pause for a while as we have our invocation to be followed by the singing of our Philippine national anthem.
Our Heavenly Father, the fount of all goodness and grace, the cause of wisdom, the source of intelligence, we welcome you, O Lord, to this auspicious gathering of your beloved, who continuously give you thanks for every opportunity to learn something new and become fruitful to the works of your creation. We humbly come to you, not because we are worthy, but because we find ourselves in need of you, who is our strength and our hope, to continue despite the challenges we face in health, prosperity, and our solidarity with one another. We pray that today's gathering, made possible by the grace of advancements in technology and social media, become successful in its endeavors so we can offer it back to you as our humble offering to honor you, glorify you, and love you through our deeper connection with everyone. May we find bliss in today's session and become more productive children and co-creators of the earth. This we ask and pray through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas. Kayang magiliw, kaya sa silanganan, alam ng puso, sa titik ko'y buhay. Lupang pinirang, tuyang ka ng magiting, sa manlulupin, di ka masisigaw, sa nagtatagtutong sa sibayan, sa langit ang bangaw, ay hinatagtut lang awit sa pagkayang minamahal. Ang isang lang patawad mo'y tagumpay na nagtitindig, ang bituin at karot niya kailan pang ay di matitinig. Lumang ang araw ng buwan, ating pagsingkap, mo'y langit sa piling mo. Ang hindi kaya ng pangay mga api, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Alright, good afternoon once again mga kayo APSA and welcome to our virtual meeting, the Avance 2021. Oras na upang ating kilalanin at kilatisin ang mga kandidato na tumatakbo para sa halalang ito. Kaya mga kayo APSA, don't forget to use our official hashtags, hashtag UAPSA National Elections 2021 and hashtag Transcend UAPSA. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let us give a virtual round of applause to our ever supportive and dynamic UAPSA 2019 to 2021 chairman and now the UAP Committee on Membership chairman for 2021-2022 as he gives his opening remarks. None other than Architect Rosano Bobby G. Baradi.
Naimbag ang malemyo amin. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the meeting, the Avance of the United Architects of the Philippines Student Auxiliary. This is in line, of course, with the upcoming UAPSA national elections. As your outgoing chair of UAPSA, I would like to commend the efforts of the UAPSA national officers led by Max Lumbera. And of course, I would like to congratulate our UAPSA COMELEC with Jade Ann Lopez, UAPSA TIP as the chair on accreditation. Likewise to Lauren Aubrey Adukul of UAPSA PLM. She is the chairman on canvassing. And we wish you all the luck, our UAPSA national candidates. You are highly recommended with your very good credentials and your well-crafted advocacies, platforms, and programs for fiscal year 2021-2022. So to the participants, this is a perfect avenue for you to listen to the different platforms of our candidates. Once again, welcome everyone and enjoy the meeting the Avance 2021. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Architect Bob, for your delightful remarks and your unwavering support to UAPSA. Now let us welcome our hardworking and lovely Accreditation Committee Chairperson, Ms. Jade Ann Lopez, for her welcoming remarks. Virtual round of applause, please. All right. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, mukhang we're expecting some technical difficulties, but syempre hindi po yan na magiging hindrance for our virtual meeting, the Avance. Okay, let's proceed to our shout-outs. Ayan, dumadami na po ang mga nagpapa-shout-out sa ating comment section. Miss Jeannie Ligan, hello from UAPSA UIC. Hello po sa inyo. From Mr. James Ting, good afternoon UAPSA. Thank you so much po for being here. Ayan, maraming salamat po. And from Than Rumbawa, good luck po sa lahat ng tatakbo. We really hope we can work with the next batch of UAPSA officers with your plans for the next fiscal year. From Lumion, Philippines. Ayan, maraming salamat naman po sa inyo for being here. And of course, we also have Architect Bobby Baradi here with us. Good afternoon, UAPSA. Best of luck, mga candidates. We also welcome ComEd ED Koei Funk and UAPSA Chair Abigail Pimentel. Greetings from UAPSA Chair Bob Mabuhay ang COMELEC and all. Ayan. And also to our viewers, please be reminded of the reminders from our UAPSA Commission on Elections. It is pinned on the comment section. So that's for the comment policy and general reminders during the live meeting, the Avance. Ayan, marami na pong nagpapasabi ng kanilang good luck and blessed Sunday. Ayan, Miss Orvin Diokino, good luck everyone from UAPSA SSU. Ayan po, maraming salamat. And we also have JRB Malakdan, blessed Sunday from UAPSA UB Arts. Ayan, maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat. Okay, so let us have, at this juncture, we will have the introduction of our candidates and talk of their platforms and general action plans. This segment will allow you to know the candidates along with their plans for UAPSA as we transcend into the next chapter. So mga ka-UAPSA, listen carefully and note the essential details and key points that can help you decide during the election days on August 17 to 18. So this first segment is entitled Walk the Talk. Ayan. All right, for our guidelines, for candidates without an opponent, the candidate will be introduced by the moderator or host. Before the introduction, the candidate shall provide an introductory note to be read by the moderator. The introduction should be concise and should span at least 1 minute or 60 seconds, and it shall be emailed to comelec at comelecupapsa.2021@gmail.com. After being introduced, the candidate will proceed to discuss his or her platforms and general action plan for the upcoming fiscal year. The allotted time will be 3 minutes to discuss with the audience. All right, for our candidates with an opponent, the candidates will be introduced still by the host. Before the introduction, the candidate shall provide an introductory note, and it should only span for 1 minute or 60 seconds, and the order will be decided through a wheel of names by our accreditation committee or technical working committee. After being introduced, the candidate will proceed to discuss his or her platforms and general action plan for the upcoming fiscal year. The allotted time will be 3 minutes to discuss with the audience, and the same order will follow based on the introduction part. All right, so ready na ba kayo mga kayo-APSA? And to our candidates, are you ready for the introduction and discussion? So, kung handa na kayo, then share your thoughts, your support in the comments section, and let's begin with our national president candidates. For the running candidate for national president, he is currently the Regional District Director for Area C, District C2 of the United Architects of the Philippines Student Auxiliary. He was also the Commissioner for External Affairs in the year 2019 to 2020 at his local chapter, UAPSA LCCB. Mr. Sobretodo handled different committees both in his local chapter and the UAPSA National, such as Technical Committee, Documentation, Creatives, and even as the event head. Mr. Sobretodo is the man behind the success of one of the seasons of the running podcast series of the organization, UAPSA Litaan, entitled January. During his term as DDC2, he held a donation drive for the chapters of his district, and together with District C4, they held a joint district assembly. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Ayid John S. Sobretodo from UAPSA LCC Bacolod, running for national president.
Hello po. Magandang
Hello,
hapon sa
good
inyong lahat.
afternoon.
Good afternoon, Sheng. Thank you for having me here.
Yes, so ready ka na po ba? You can present your platforms right now and
Sige,
introduce.
sige. Sana di ako mawalan ng data dito. Okay. Saglit lang. I'll share my screen.
Ayan, marami na pong nag-good afternoon sa atin. At meron po dito si Mr. Lyle Daniel, Go Ayid, I love you daw po, Mr. Sobretodo.
Nakikita
So,
mo
I
screen
hope that
ko?
hindi pa po. Opo.
Oh.
Ayan,
Ayan.
it's loading na po. Okay, you can start na.
Sino ba ako? At ngayon, ipapakilala kong aking sarili na ako si Ayid John Sobretodo, running for the position as the national president. So ito ngayon taon, iprepresenta ko ang aking election platform at general plan of action. Sobra na, todo pa. Systematic plans in every event and programs for the UAPSA members. Every event has its own plans and actions. It's becoming a norm in every aspect of the organization. Why? This promotes communication, organization, and members to develop effective strategy, meaning each event is unique. By overall planning, developing planning, operating planning, and evaluation. Optimistic in seeking solution and extending its arms to different platforms. Problems that we have faced in the pandemic, UAPSA members have hard time to access the materials to utilize the resources in seeking solutions to answers. This utilizes all available platforms and social media. UAPSA would want to keep its development aligned within our profession and collaborate on different allied professions. By application on service, organization, and actions could strengthen international and national through collaborative events. Next is boundless opportunities for its members. Members needs various activities to improve their skills and talents. Every area's chapter should be exposed in different platforms. This diversifies the camaraderie of the organization, provide more engagement, and strengthen the skills of academics, increase collaboration with its members by exploring, developing, network, and community build. Next is responsive to the concerns of different chapters. Each chapter has its own problems and concerns with regards to different aspects having a lack of responsiveness, and it is the most common problem experiencing issue achieving growth in the areas, districts, and chapters. This is to improve the organization's capability for successful innovation and provide solution to different problems to each chapter by analyzing the problem, open innovation, and collaborative approach. And next is ascend its goals to a new perspective. UAPSA wants to ascend its goals that starts with a process. Step up goals of each areas, help members, officers, and develop their characters to boost their morale. Look up a brighter future where everybody improves physically, mentally, and socially by curiosity, courage, and motivation. So here is my general plan of actions for the fiscal year. Number one is update the e-library. It is part of the progress why we need to update the e-library because every year UAPSA has its new members and entering UAPSA community. This promotes the access of multiple contents to utilize the resources of the e-library in the pandemic situation. Second is continuation of the UAPSA Litaan podcast series. Podcast provides a good promotion for different areas and different local chapters. This leads to promote the profession. Not only each season has its own topic and has its own voice on how our profession is tackled in the present society. Third, strengthen the reinforcement of the membership guidelines during the membership drive, both national and local. Due to the problem arising of different chapter concerns, UAPSA wants to strengthen its membership guidelines more understandable and more concise throughout the fiscal year. Next is amendment of chapter affiliation form. All local chapters that there must be a strict implementation regarding with the caps and the cap so that there will be no delay with regards to their membership. Next is introduce UAPSA Habilidad. It is a platform to showcase the different works of the UAPSA members and it aims to provide a diversity through manual and digital works. Next is innovate UAPSA's leadership training program to adapt in admin's challenging times. UAPSA wants to enhance the collaborative of different local chapters and different areas to find each different solutions to branch out with their full potential as a leader. And lastly is e-monitoring system. Every year has the same problem with regards to the membership concerns, and this platform helps to monitor all UAPSA chapters and their concerns and questions with regards to the organization and requirement. Again, my name is Ayi John Sobretoda, and I am running for the position of National President. See towards better opportunities. Madamo gid nga salamat, and I am from Area C.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr.
Ayan.
Sobretodo. Grabe naman po yun, sa inyong mga platforms. And we wish you all the best. Maraming salamat po. So we will be proceeding to our next national president candidate. Our next national president candidate is a senior architecture student from the University of Santo Tomas College of Architecture. He has been an active member of various organizations in UST since his freshman year. He started his involvement in UAPSA UST as an executive associate to the vice president for programs and development, serving as organizing committee for various events in the chapter. He is also the first community development director for UAPSA UST, serving simultaneously as the chief of staff to the national treasurer in 2019. This has paved the way for his role as a member of the National Board of Directors as the UAPSA National Auditor for the past fiscal year. Zion is also an advocate of several humanitarian causes, earning him the title of UST RT Tomasian Youth Ambassador 2020. He has also been awarded first runner-up in the 2020 Ginebra Ako Awards, recognizing his work as the co-founder for I Uplift Philippines, an initiative that aims to provide Filipino communities, families, and children with humanitarian support during and after the crisis. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Zion Enrico R. Licop from UAPSA UST, running for national president.
Ayan. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon po. Sige po, Mr. Zion, ready na po ba kayo to present your platforms?
Yes, I'll share my screen lang muna.
Sige po. Ayan, at marami rin pong nagpapaabot ng suporta sa comment section. Ayan. Meron pong go, Kuya Zion. at merong mga hearts. So I hope that nakakatulong po yun na patatagin ang iyong loob sa hapong ito. Ayan po. Sige, ready when you are, Mr. Zayo.
Yes po, I'm sharing my screen na po.
Yes, sige po.
Let me start po. Ako po si Zion Enrico Licup, tumatakbo bilang inyong National President na may temang proyekto na nakaayon sa pulso. Dahil naniniwala ako na ang bawat pulso ay may karampatang boses at importansya. Kung wala ang tinig at tibok ng bawat estudyante, walang liksi ang buong sistema. Ano nga ba yung mga rason ng mga proyektong ito? Dahil sa pangangailangan natin na mag-adjust, mag-adapt, at magbigay ng mga panibagong solusyon sa ating organisasyon ngayong online setup. Una ay ang muhon. Nais sana nating paigtingin na kailangan nating balikan ang ating mga sarili at ang ating mga layunin upang umusad tayo. Magagawa natin ito sa pagbabalik natin sa objectives ng UAPSA at organizational chart. Pangalawa ay ang bugkos. Nais natin gawing mas inclusive at engaging ang ating organisasyon. At lahat ng miyembro nito, paano ba natin ito magagawa? Sa pamagitan ng market study at syempre pagkonsulta sa ating mga local chapters at pakikinig sa mga kanilang mga pangailangan. Pangatlo ay ang sinag. Nais nating pasinagin ang lahat ng miyembro sa UAPSA upang mas mapaigting natin ang pagiging socially responsible natin bilang mga architecture students. Sa pagpapatuloy ng UAPSA Litaan Podcast, pagsagawa ng digital educational campaigns, at pagpatuloy ng community outreach programs. Dahil naniniwala ako na ang aksyon ang pinakamabisang solusyon. Panghuli ay ang layag. Alam nating may angking galing ang mga estudyanteng arkitekto at kailangan nating i-maximize ang potential ng bawat isa para i-develop ang kanilang skills at capabilities. Sa pamamagitan ng una, pag-empower ng areas, districts at chapters. Pangalawa ay pag-encourage ng online collaboration. Pangatlo ay patuloy na paghahanap ng external collaborations dahil ang karanasan ang magbibigay daan sa makabagong kaalaman. Para sa ating mga long-term plans at vision, kinakailangan natin mag-adapt sa pandemya. At ang solusyon dito ay ang pagkakaroon ng digital shift sa pamamagitan ng pag-maximize ng digital tools to bridge the physical gap among chapters nationwide. Ang mga planong ito ay nangangailangan ng inyong suporta. Naway sumang-ayon kayo kay Zion at ang mga planong ito tungo sa makabagong UAPSA. Muli, ako si Zion Enrico Licup, ang inyong National President. Maraming salamat po.
Ayan, maraming salamat po Mr. Licup sa inyong presentation and we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you, everyone.
All right, thank you so much to our national president candidates. Now let's proceed to our national external vice president candidate. Ayan. Our national external vice president candidate is a student leader of Adamson University. Nico has long been interested in student organizations and even attended his first UAPSA event before joining UAPSA and even before starting college. He started as the first-year batch director for UAPSA ADU while also serving simultaneously as a deputy member for the Committee on Library and Archives. For the next fiscal year, his profound ability for micromanagement and good leadership earned him the position of Vice President for External Affairs in his local chapter, while simultaneously serving UAPSA National as the chair for the Committee on Library and Archives. Currently, Nico is the outgoing Executive Director for Internal Affairs in his third year of service as a UAPSA officer. His leadership experience serving in the Internal Affairs and the External Affairs of UAPSA National and his local chapter combined with his organized micromanagement skills makes him a great asset as an aspiring national executive vice president candidate. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Q. Nicolai M. Malabao from UAPSA ADU running for national executive vice president. Hello po, Mr. Q. Ayan, meron po tayo ditong comment. Paano babasahin ang pangalan? Mr. Q po. Si Mr. Q Nicolai. Ayan. At may mga nagpapaabot po ng good luck kay Mr. Q. So, ayan, sige po. Let us do a quick shout out habang hinihintay po natin muna si Mr. Malabaw. At syempre we cannot, control the unforeseen circumstances, lalo na sa ating mga internet connection, mga power interruptions, pero patuloy pa rin ang ating virtual meeting, the Avance, for this afternoon. So ayan, maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat, no? Grabe yung comment section, nagbo-blow up sa support and love para sa ating candidates sa hapon na ito. So maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat. Ayan. O, di ba? Ang dami na pong nagpapaabot ng kanilang good luck and greetings to Mr. Q. Mr. Q. Ayan, sige po. Hintayin lang po natin. Pero based on the presentations from our national candidates, so I hope that you guys were able to note down important details that can help you decide during the election days, especially to our National Board of Directors and Chapter Presidents. So sa mga hindi pa po nagre-register, nako, makibahagi at magrehistro na kayo dahil napaka-importante po ng ating elections. So ayan, please do exercise your voting rights. Ayan po. Okay, so ayan. Sige po, habang tayo yung naghihintay pa rin. Kamusta naman po kayo, ladies and gentlemen, so far sa ating virtual meeting, the Avance? Can I hear it from the audience? Kamusta naman po ang feeling ninyo? Can you share your thoughts, your reactions so far sa ating mga presenters ng candidates natin? Ayan, marami pong nagpapaabot ng kanilang suporta. Ayun, maraming salamat sa inyo po. Sige po, at mukhang babalikan lang natin si Mr. Q Malabaw. Pero don't you worry, at dahil makaka-present po siya at i-introduce niya rin po ang kanyang self. Okay, so just continue to comment and share your reactions, your support, and may nagpapaabot din po ng good luck to our incoming officers kung sino man po ang mga uupo sa next fiscal year. All right, let's proceed to our Secretary General candidate. His involvement with the United Architects of the Philippines Student Auxiliary started at his local chapter. In 2018, he was their batch first-year representative. He served his purpose by involving himself in organizing architectural events both on and off campus. In his second year, with his experience and desire for leading his fellow DAVSU architecture students. For the fiscal year 2019-2020, he has been appointed as chapter president. During his term, the chapter hosted several events, workshops, and seminars that benefited the architecture community of Don Honorio Ventura State University. But more importantly, at the end of his term, the chapter received multiple awards from UAPSA National's Mid-Year Recognition and National Excellence Award. They have been awarded as the Best Membership Campaign in Area A. Also, UAPSA DAVSU was ranked third in Area A for best membership turnout with a population rate of 64.6% out of 1,289 DAVSU architecture students. They are also one of the recipients of the most participating chapter. And not only that, with 827 UAPSA members, he extended a 3-year streak of having the greatest number of members in the Philippines and getting the highest membership population award. With his combined experience and expertise, he got to where he is now as the outgoing regional director for A2 Central Luzon District. Adon continues to serve UAPSA even during these trying times, as he believes that it is not the strongest of the species that survives, nor the most intelligent. It is one that is most adaptable to change. Ayan, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Adon M. De La Rosa, UAPSA DAVSU, running for Secretary General. Mr. Adon. Ayan. Hello po, Mr. Adon. So ready na po ba kayo to share your platforms?
Yes po.
Okay, sige po. So you can share your screen so that you can start. Ayan.
Okay, so good afternoon, everybody. I am Adon De La Rosa from UAPSA, DAFSU, running for the next Secretary General. For my election platform, first one is by establishing an effective communication strategy and information dissemination. We all know that the norm in to all architecture students are awake 24/7. Maybe because of their academic requirements, and nakakalimutan natin to have a proper schedule when it comes to disseminating information and announcements that are related to UAPSA. And this might lead to misinformation and confusion among the organization's officers and members. If I'm given a chance to be the next Secretary General, I'll make sure to create a fixed time schedule for all announcements by creating a virtual bulletin board where all officers and members are well informed. Second, the issuing of e-certificates and e-cards. It's been a challenge to find your own certificate among hundreds when participating and joining various webinars simultaneously. Ang nangyayari, dinadump lang lahat ng mga certificates into one Google Drive folder, and delegates are the ones responsible for sa paghahanap ng kanilang mga certificates. And that can be difficult for some members na limited ang kanilang mga internet because they need to invest more time browsing hundreds of certificates bago nila mahanap yun sa kanila. By establishing a systematic manner of sending them straight to the member's designated email address, these can help delegates and officers for easy access. Number three, by creating an online file room, I will name this the UAPSA Archive. Since we're still dealing with the pandemic, we don't have a choice but to stay at home. Lahat ng ganap sa org is through online webinars, online meetings, and this will produce more important letters such as invitation letters, sponsorship letters, and the like. By creating an online file room, every file is accessible and it's not limited to the Secretary General. This will help the workflow and file organization of all essential UAPSA related documents with the help of Commissioner on Internal Affairs, the Library and Archives. Fourth, creating the official website for UAPSA. Aside from Facebook, which I think is the current main platform of UAPSA, when it comes to releasing dates for events and upcoming projects, creating the official website of UAPSA will help our members for easy navigation of events and announcements. Not only that, we can also include UAPSA's achievements throughout the years and the involvement of the Haligi publication. And lastly, upgrading membership card benefits. Here, offering UAPSA membership card benefits nationwide by early scouting various establishments all around the Philippines. And by working through the process of releasing the cards early para lahat ng members ay masulit nila at magamit nila yung mga benefits while their membership is ongoing. For my general plan of action, first is by establishing a general calendar of activities of national, area, and district events. Kailangan din i-filter yung mga events and activities if need ba talaga sila and if it really serve its purpose because we want to ensure that our members are physically, emotionally, and mentally healthy. We don't want them to be bombarded with such events para lang masabi na our organization is still relevant even after this trying time. And also to serve one of the UAPSA's purpose and objectives, which is to provide students with favorable opportunities to engage in culturally and academically beneficial and enriching experiences. Second is the strict implementation of evaluation after each event by following a proper guideline to lessen the duration of the meeting kung hindi naman kailangan yung super haba na time and para makapag-focus sa agenda without any interruption. And lastly, to help UAPSA members by providing remarkable online engagement while strengthening the participation of students with innovative ideas for every event. Again, I am Adon De La Rosa, running for the next Secretary General for fiscal year 2021 to 2022. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Aidan M. De La Rosa from UAPSA DAVSU. Maraming salamat po for your presentation. Ayan, reminder again to our candidates, please do be mindful of our time po. But anyway, let's move on to our next candidate, our National Treasurer. Ayan. For our National Treasurer, is a fifth-year committed, hardworking leader from Lyceum of the Philippines University Cavite. He was then appointed to become the chapter president of the UAPSA LPUC chapter during the fiscal year of 2019-2020, as he saw his passion and love for serving the community, and so did the people around him. He was then therefore appointed to become the current district director of B3 for the fiscal year 2020-2021, and by the previous district director. His service in the UAPSA Nationals has been exceptional to be recognized and created a new passion for participation in such events as being the quadripartite Indigay Organizing Committee Tournament Head, Area B Liderato Webinar Head, Area B Assembly 2021 Event Head, and UAPSA National Congress Angatwiran 2021 Event Head Deputy. With all his experience and dedication in his years in UAPSA, he has decided to run for National Treasurer for fiscal year 2021-2022, this UAPSA Nationals election, to reach out his greater service to a greater number of members. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Kerwin B. Moresca from UAPSA LPU Cavite, running for National Treasurer.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon po. Ready na po ba kayo to introduce?
Yes po.
Sige po. Ready when you are.
Good day, this is Kerwin Morasca from LPU Cavite, running for the position of National Treasurer of UAPSA fiscal year 2021-2022. I was affiliated as LPU Cavite's chapter president in the year 2019-2020 following my shift to UAPSA Nationals as the district director of B3 in the year 2020-2021, as well as being the immediate past chapter president of LPU Cavite in the same year. Due to my competency in UAPSA, I opened various doors to find opportunities in molding my leadership skills, and now I am here to say, Kayo UAPSA, let's step up. For this year's National Treasurer election platform, I present to you 4 applications from the acronym STEP: Systematize, Transact, Envision, and Present. For systematize, is something about flow of information, info dissemination, pag may mga events, ganyan, using social media for communication para ma-update parati yung event heads ng status about the budget. Next is Transact. Dito nakasalalay yung operation, organization ng monetary responsibilities and performance as a treasurer. Nandito rin yung administration ng work as a treasurer and my work ethics as an officer. Envision, knowing in this part of my platform to extend my arms in finding ways of serving the UAPSA, this proposal aims to reach the treasurers and auditors of each chapter. It would aim to answer the frequently asked questions kung saan matutulungan sila na ma-maintain yung accurate and detailed financial records, to prepare the chapter or district budget, and also to receive the disbursed funds at iba pa. Next is Present. Aims to present the financial records to CPs and officers of UAPSA, integrating security and transparency. The reports include the documentation of transactions every period, ensuring credibility and accountability. And now, here is the list of my general plan of actions for the fiscal year 2021-2022. First, to collaborate with the ways and means for the partnership packages and year-long sponsorship. It will be more easier na ma-monitor yung pera na papasok sa UAPSA. And with these partnerships, we could help those chapter or students that are in need of financial assistance. Next is to create a coherent agreement policy with attached guidelines in collecting reimbursement funds, budget allocation, and proposals to further exercise conventional understanding in claiming reimbursement funds and allotted detailed event budget, and maintain a comprehensive treasury to attain utmost transparency. Next is to establish a standard in budget apportion to level fund distribution and prioritize events that shall need a larger certain value of funds. And lastly is maximization of using Google Workspace like Google Sheets as an online platform for showing the activities and calendar with allotted proper budget. Hashtag see towards better opportunities. Thank you.
All right, maraming salamat po, Mr. Moresca. sa inyong presentation. Alright, thank you so much. So reminder to our candidates ha, kahit na po kinakabahan kayo, please do be mindful of your PPTs as well and for the time limit po. Maraming salamat. Okay, now let us move on to our National Auditor candidate. Ayan, for a national auditor, she is an active member of UAPSA UE Caloocan even before she became one of the chapter officers. In the year 2018 to 2019, she became the third-year representative of her chapter while being the ARCI representative of Buklod Sining, an organization for UE CFAD students. She is also a student athlete who actively represented UE as one of the volleyball girls in FASA, or Federation of Architecture Schools involved in athletics. She served as the vice president for programs and development before she became the chapter president, wherein she spearheaded her chapter's annual fundraising event called Paghilom, a Night for a Cause, where the said event got featured on UE Red Wire or UE Caloocan-based publications and caused a surge of togetherness from the whole of the UE student community and the 1,000 other participants who extended their help. She is now a graduating student and the outgoing chapter president of UAPSA UE Caloocan. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ms. Jillian Jean Mare and Serrano from UAPSA UE Caloocan, running for National Auditor. All right, Ms. Jillian.
Hi.
Hello, good afternoon, Ms.
Good
Jillian. Are you
afternoon.
ready?
Wait lang, let me share my screen po muna.
Sige po. Okay, take time to share your screen. At marami na pong nagpapaabot ng kanilang support na rin sa inyo sa comments. So, good luck!
Kita na po ba? Hello, kita na po yung presentation.
Yes po. Yes po.
Okay. Magandang hapon po. I am Jillian Jean Marie Ann Serrano from UAPSA UE Caloocan. You can call me Gagay. I am running for the position of National Auditor. Hashtag si Gagay ang gagabay. Now for my election platform, first is clean, transparent, and honest audit. So this will make sure na UAPSA is going to be a corruption-free organization. Next is innovative and creative problem solving to address issues. So now again, we are in an online setup. So it is important na we propose flexible and adaptive solutions. So third is collaborative cultivation of trust and respect in dealing with problems. We are all in a difficult situation right now and hindi maiiwasan na there will be misunderstanding and miscommunication. So it is best to build good relationship not only with the EXICOM, the NBD, or the MANCOM, but with the chapters as well. And last but not the least is the effective systems and processes for better monitoring of audits. So we have to come up with new system in auditing that is applicable and effective in online setup. Now, for my general plan of action, first is the implementation of process audit. So this aims to create a system or process that will allow us to see every detail, including those that is oftentimes being overlooked. So kapag auditor ka, sometimes binibigay na lang sa atin is the finished transactions and the receipts for us to record. But by the implementation of process audit, I will be very hands-on on monitoring every detail, every process of the transaction. Take for example, kapag meron tayong webinar, mayroong mga prizes, I will make sure na natatanggap talaga ng mga winners yung prizes nila without any delays. And this will also help me determine whether the activities and resources are being managed efficiently and effectively. Next is the financial monitoring of every event. So this will support the annual cash projection for every events and activities. So this will give us an overview on how much can be allotted on a specific event so that we can be smart with our money on how much we can spend and how much can we save. So third is the roster tie financial report for all chapters. So this will allow the NPD to see how the chapters are performing financially, especially now in a pandemic. We all know na mahirap magkaroon ng fund and budgets for the event. So dito makikita natin kung sino yung mga chapters na nag-i-struggle financially so we can help them and reach them out. And last but not least for my plan of action is the maximization of online workspace. So the use of Google Workspace like the Google Sheets, Google Forms, and Google Documents for auditing platforms. So if anyone from the NBD, the EXICOM, the MANCOM, or even the chapters will be requesting to see the financial report, I can just send them the Google Sheets kung saan nakalock sa akin yung editing. Ako na yung makapag-edit pero makikita nila. This is to be transparent to them. Also, by maximizing this, and it'll be very efficient in terms of time and convenience. So that will be all. Maraming salamat po. Again, I am Julian Marie Ansirano, your next national auditor from UAPSA UA Caloocan. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Miss Serrano. Indeed, no, napaka-importante talaga ng transparency and liquidation when it comes to our funds. So, ayan, grabing-grabe naman yung mga introduction. So, mga kayo APSA, comment your reactions and support to your candidates. But wait, there's more. Now, let's have our Vice President for Area B. She is a dedicated student leader who started off her journey in UAPSA as an appointed Public Relation Officer Internals of UAPSA de La Salle University, Dasmariñas for the year 2018-2019 during her first year in BS Architecture. It was her then co-officers that showed her the enjoyment of engaging with UAPSA national events that made her interested in one day joining them shortly. She then pursued to become the vice president of UAPSA DLSUD for the year 2019-2020 and eventually won the election to become the current chapter president of UAPSA DLSUD for the fiscal year 2020-2021. Throughout the 3 years of her service in the organization, she developed various skills that blossomed through as she engaged with being an organizing committee, such as becoming a technical head, gaining knowledge on editing videos and audio for UAPSA Litaan, creating publication materials with crucial details, and performing for the organization. She then went to expand her experiences by heading various UAPSA national sub-events, essentially quadripartite e-games entitled Indigay, now e-games entitled Eat and Tramurals, Area B Liderato Fellowship Night entitled Tiwasay, and Area B Assembly's webinar entitled Ablation. As she gained more knowledge and experience, Mary Joyce Gayanilo has now decided to pursue her goal of becoming part of the UAPSA Nationals to bring out the great memories as she obtained and want others to experience the same encounters. And she sees this opportunity as a big step to the journey she yet saw as nearly impossible. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mary Joyce M. Gayanilo from UAPSA DLSU Dasmariñas, running for Vice President for Area B.
Yes, hello po.
Hello po, good afternoon sa inyo, madam. Ready
Yes,
na po
good
ba
afternoon
kayo?
po. Yes, ready na po.
Sige. Okay, you can start now.
Ayun. Good afternoon to our current COMELEC, National Board of Directors, candidates, and fellow Kayo APSA. I'm Mary Joyce Gayanilo, the outgoing chapter president of UAPSA DLSUD, and now running for the position of VPB. The online platform has significantly become our communication pathway for local chapters and UAPSA nationals. Yet, we seek to bring out the best UAPSA we can ever imagine and create despite our current situation. So, I present my election platform for my running position by seeking the 4 E's: invest, essence, establish, and generate. First, we have invest. Unity of the whole area, of course, is an essential goal that would create a circle of union with the chapters. This goal is not only to maximize the participation of the events, but to inspire and spark a chain of engagement to our fellow members. Next, we have Essence. Essence basically directly focuses on the building critical skills important for leadership development and encourage involvement of chapters to result in unison decisions. Next, we have Establish. Formulating new and quality initiatives along with the utilization of online platforms to foster adaptive operations and, of course, support continuous communication with our fellow Kayo APSA. And last but not the least, for my platform, we have Generate. Of course, here we construct new quality events, especially in relations to current topics that would mold the area's concord with each chapter and rekindle a new culture that would be innovative for the online to the face-to-face platforms for the future. These 4 E's would essentially become the foundation of various upcoming steps to create the general plan of action objectives, therefore giving the spotlight to the events and 3 core highlights of my GFOA. First and foremost is the liderato. a yearly leadership training that is now going to become more focused on showing fellow UAPSA officers, especially new ones, how to lead their chapters and instill workshops on the essence and beautiful call of being a leader. Second is the Area B Assembly, the second annual event to not only bring each direct district together, but to infuse new cultures in the area assembly that would inevitably be both for online and face-to-face events. And last and yet the most critical one is the Aglama, creating connections within the area and allowing each chapter to support other events and allow them to expand their perspectives in creating a platform of dissemination and exposure such as Discord and organized group chats. And truly, we seek greatness in the new fiscal year. Let's bring each area together to become one beyond the driven exuberance. Once again, I am Mary Joyce Gayanilo, running for Vice President for Area B. Maraming salamat po.
All right. Thank you so much, Miss Gayanilo. Ayan. Thank you so much for your presentation. And we would like to acknowledge Architect Choi Funk, our Executive Director, UAP Commission on Education for 2021-2022. Maraming salamat po for being here and for showing your support to our candidates and to everyone here. Maraming salamat po, Architect Choi. So, ayan. Last but definitely not the least, our Vice President candidate for Area D. Okay. One of UAPSA MCM's founding officers in the fiscal year 2019-2020, serving as the chapter's vice president for operations and an active part of the UAPSA District D1's council, serving both as secretary and deputy director for consecutive years. Recently, in the fiscal year 2020-2021, together with his outstanding chapter board, he successfully led UAPSA MCM in its second year as an officially affiliated chapter, despite the challenges in adapting to the fully online setup as a chapter president. Now running for the position of vice president for Area D, Mr. Arnel Rashid S. Defensor from UAPSA Malayan College, Mindanao.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good
Thank you
afternoon
for
po.
the generous preamble. So let me share my screen.
Yes. So ready when you are, Mr. Arnel. Ayan po, marami nang nagpapaabot ng support sa comment section sa inyo. So good luck in your presentation. Ayan. All right. We have Paula Elaine Jose. Hashtag, oh, Mr. Dior Marquez. Sabi niya, oh, ayan. Hashtag Nico para sa'yo. Aba, grabe naman. At si Mr. Dior Marquez, hashtag Arnel D for Area D. Ay, grabe naman. Napakawiti naman ito. So, ayan, maraming salamat po. And also, Kim Russell Manjares, hashtag Arnel for Area D and hashtag Mindanawan. Ayan, okay na po ba kayo sa inyong PPT?
Oh, yes.
Okay. Sige po. You may
I'm
present.
sorry for the delay. Once again, I'm Arnold Defensor from Malayan College, Mindanao. I'm running for the Vice President for Area D, and here are my platforms. First is empathetic leadership. I believe empathy is actually the bare minimum for leaders. It fosters fairness and understanding within the team and encourages a healthy environment for co-planning and trickling up instead of trickling down from leaders. We should hear from our members their suggestions and straight from our members. Next is holistic excellence. I believe competence is a very important, it's the central value a leader must have. So we must empower each leader in the area and unravel their capabilities to be the best leader they can be. And they should also create a ripple effect within the community and creating members that are holistically excellent, so that area could be recognized not just for representation, but really for its members' overall brilliance. Next is rekindling oneness. I believe to achieve this, we must adhere to the common interests
establish partnerships and mutual support within the community. So for us to achieve genuine relationships beyond profile pictures and profile names. So next is the plan of action, our plan of action. How do we achieve our goals, and what is the manifestations of our success? So the first is assessment. I believe assessments and evaluations should be interactive so that we can hear real suggestions from our members, and also we could monitor our chapters and districts for us to provide in-depth solution and assistance in the future. Next is rewards and benefits. I believe motivation is a big part in encouraging engagement within the community for us to have better turnouts in our events. So we should also utilize long-term benefits. Also awards and recognitions. We should always recognize our members, our chapters, achievements, even the littlest of them. Next is workshops. I believe providing our members, our leaders with essential learning venues for leadership, communication, and project management is very important for us to empower them. Next is partnerships. I believe to bridge gaps, especially because of the pandemic crisis, we must really introduce chapters and encourage chapter and district collaborations, and not just rely on our events and programs for them to meet each other. We should really proactive in this. Should really be proactive in this endeavor. Next is empowerment. I believe as part of the youth, it is our responsibility to empower our fellow youth. We should contribute to their social awareness, open intellectual discourses, and help them to form sensible opinions, and of course, make rational decisions for the upcoming Halalan 2022. Again, I am Arnel Defensor from Millennial Colleges Mindanao. I believe we can reignite hashtag One Love One Area D, and yes, achieve hashtag Mindanaoan. That's all.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Defensor. Best of luck to you. And marami na po nga nagla-love and comment sa ating comment section. So, ayan, maraming salamat po. And ladies and gentlemen, ayan, pwede po bang tanungin kung nandito pa ba si Mr. Q? Mr. Q? Kung nandito ka po. So, if you are, if we cannot have our NEVP candidate, ayan. Ayun, thank you so much. No, andito na po si Mr. NEVP candidate natin. So let me just introduce him again to every one of us. So student leader of Adamson University, Nico has long been interested in student organizations and even attended his first UAPSA event before joining UAPSA and even before starting college. He started as the first-year batch director for UAPSA ADU while also serving simultaneously as a deputy member for the Committee on Library and Archives. For the next fiscal year, his profound ability for micromanagement and good leadership earned him the position of Vice President for External Affairs in his local chapter, while simultaneously serving UAPSA National as the chair for the Committee on Library and Archives. Currently, Nico is the outgoing Executive Director for Internal Affairs in his third year of service as a UAPSA officer. His leadership, experience serving in the Internal Affairs and the External Affairs of UAPSA National and his local chapter combined with his organized micromanagement skills makes him a great asset as an aspiring National Executive Vice President candidate. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Q. Nicolai M. Malabao from UAPSA ADU. Mr. Q?
Hello, am I audible?
Yes po. Okay, you may
So
start presenting.
I won't be presenting because I'm having internet problems. So I'll just okay.
Sige po.
So hello and good day everyone. I'm Nico from UAPSA ADU, and my election platform aims to address concerns from the internal and external affairs, which is under the office of the NEVP. First is transcendent, which addresses the future of UAPSA as an organization, making sure that the works of the organization is in line with our common goal, preserved accordingly, secured to easy transition to the successors further in line. Second is Steadfast, which addresses the internal affairs, helping to provide the necessary and adequate support for all chapters through consistent and active collaborations from Area A, B, C, and D. And last is Collaborative, which addresses the external affairs, establishing connections and acquiring new knowledge and skills through interactive effort with other organizations in the architecture's allied professions. My initial plans of actions, if ever that I may take office, are the following. First is to maximize the usage of cloud-based media for collaborative works and for secure backups in the case of emergencies. The second is to utilize the availability of secure space for important meetings, private presentations via an organized Discord server. The third is the formulation, study, verification, implication of guides and handbooks to set as a standard and basis of operation for each committee which currently lacks any. The next is to promote inclusivity by scouting for talents from each area as much as possible. And the last is to establish connections with other organizations in the architecture's allied professions through partnerships, sponsorships, and collaborative events. That's all. Thank you.
Okay na po. Hello! Okay. So ayun, maraming salamat Mr. Malabao for your presentation. So ayan, marami po nga nagpapaabot din ng kanilang support sa comment section. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much to our candidates. And that concludes the first half of our virtual meeting, the Avance 2021. In the meantime, we will be having our resting hour as we prepare for the most awaited part, which is the Q&A and presidential debate. We will be back at exactly 2:10 p.m. so that you can do your personal necessities, grab a drink, or get some food as we have our second segment later. So see you mga kayo-APSA!
UAPSA National Election 2021. Meeting the Avance. The live event will start in a few minutes.
Ayan, and we're back, ladies and gentlemen. So nakapag-deep breaths na po ba kayo? Kayo po ba'y nakapag-recharge na? Na-digest yun na po ba ang mga present na platforms ng ating mga candidates kanina? Nako, lalo na sa ating mga candidates, breathe in, breathe out. Ayan, so before we start our second segment, syempre, atin namang pakinggan ang opening remarks ni Ms. Jade Lopez.
Magandang hapon mga kayo-APSA. I would like to take this opportunity to express my grateful heart to give thanks to our dearest and humble UAPSA COMELEC Chairman Architect Rosano, Bobby Baradi, for guiding us. Thank you so much also to technicals, creatives, and especially my members on Accreditation Committee. I am extraordinarily grateful for all the works you have done to make this event possible. At mula sa UAPSA Commissions on Elections for Fiscal Year 2020 to 2021, nais po naming pasalamatan ang ating mga panelists sa pagtanggap ng aming imbitasyon at paglaan ng oras sa araw na ito upang tayo ay lubos matulungan na makilala ang ating mga kandidato sa nalalapit na eleksyon. And to our candidates, I would like to congratulate you in advance for coming this far, and we wish you good luck as you run for the position. Again, good afternoon everyone. Welcome to our UAPSA National Elections 2021 virtual meeting, the Avance.
Right. Alright, thank you so much, Miss Jade. Nako, oras na upang kilatisin at gisahin ng ating mga panelists, ng mga NBD and audience ang ating mga candidates. Kaya handa na ba kayo, guys? So please do show kung ano ang mga reactions nyo, feelings nyo in the comment sections, and use our official hashtag UAPSA National Elections 2021 and hashtag Transcend UAPSA. Okay, so let's proceed to our most awaited segment entitled Tapatan at Tanungan. For this part, please allow me to read the guidelines. For candidates without an opponent, the candidates will now proceed to the next segment where they will be asked questions covering philosophical, social, political, or national, and the UAPSA-related issues. The questions will come from the Board of Panelists and outgoing UAPSA National Board of Directors. The candidate will be given at least 1 minute or 60 seconds to answer. The next segment will be an open forum type wherein questions will come from the audience who are present in the Zoom meeting during the event. The candidate has 1 minute or 60 seconds to answer the question. And for the final segment, the candidate will be allotted 2 minutes for a closing speech. And for candidates with an opponent, the candidates will now proceed to the next segment. Same questions will be asked. It is philosophical, social, political, or national and UAPSA-related issues. The questions will come from our outgoing Board of Panelists and UAPSA National Board of Directors. And the order of candidates is still the same as the introduction. Each candidate will be given at least 1 minute or 60 seconds to answer. For the next segment, we will be having an open forum type wherein questions will come from the audience who are present during the event, and each candidate will be allotted 1 minute or 60 seconds to answer the question. And for the final segment, this will be a debate type and will be following the format of debate of moderated and face-off. So, ayan. Kaabang-abang mga kayo APSA, no? So, let us meet our Board of Panelists. Ayan. For the first member of our Board of Panelists is currently on the Publication Committee for UAPSA District B1, former National University Chapters, Mass Media and Logistics Committees, and membership head, and the incoming chapter president for the fiscal year 2021-2022. Aside from her engagements with UAPSA, Zuyuska, or simply Zoo, is also a scholar of the European Center for Career Education, Architecture and Design program taking place in Prague, July 2021. Zoo is also an external affairs member of Youth Forum 2030. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ms. Zuyuska A. Bennett from UAPSA NU. Hello po, Ms. Zoo.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for having me here, and I'm looking forward to all of our candidates and their answers.
Yes, maraming salamat po. Napaka-fresh naman ng ating panelist. Talagang pinaghandaan po. All right, thank you, Ms. Zoo. Next, we have our second member of the Board of Panelists. She is currently the outgoing Regional District Director for UAPSA District T1, the former University of the Philippines Mindanao Chapter President of the fiscal year 2019-2020, and former Commissioner on Creatives of the same university for the fiscal year 2018-2019. While simultaneously serving the organization, Andrea just recently graduated from the University of the Philippines, Mindanao this July 2021. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ms. Andrea Faye G. Adlawan, UAPSA UP Min.
Hi
Young.
everyone, good afternoon.
Good afternoon po, Ms. Andrea. How are you today?
I'm good, thank you. Ang dapat tinatanong yan yung candidate.
Totoo po yan. So ready ka na po ba? Nagisahin sila at kilatisin mamaya.
Ready na po.
Alright, maraming salamat po. So next, let us move to our third board of panelists. She is the outgoing chapter president of UAPSA, Eastern Visayas State University. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ms. Liberty Rose Lesigas from UAPSA EBSU. Yes.
Hello.
Yes, ayan
I'm excited to hear from our candidates.
Yes, talaga pong excited na rin po din kami, no? So napaka-fresh po talaga ng ating mga board of panelists. Si Miss Liberty, thank you so much for being here po. Okay, next we have, last but definitely not the least, to complete our board of panelists, a graduate of Bachelor of Science in Architecture at Technological University of the Philippines, works as a design architect at Visionarch Incorporated, one of the top 10 architecture firms in the Philippines, the former National Treasurer of UAPSA fiscal year 2017-2018, and the former International Affairs Director, where he represented the Philippines as an official delegate to the Arcasia Student Jamboree at Tokyo, Japan. He is also the former USG College of Architecture and Fine Arts President for fiscal year 2017-2018, a debater, speaker, and a member of the Revisions Committee of the Students' Constitution and Bylaws of his university. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Richmond M. Rojas from UAPGA, Batangas.
Hi guys, it's good to be back, and I just can't wait to ask the easiest questions. Right?
Yeah. Grabe naman po, Mr. Richmond. Talagang pinaghandaan niyo.
No, hindi masyado.
Okay. Sige po. Maraming salamat po. So thank you to our honorable board of panelists. So ready na ba kayo guys, to our viewers? Kayo APSA, ready na ba kayo? So to our candidates, deep breaths. You got this. Okay, so let's start with our second segment, starting with our Vice President candidate for Area D, Mr. Arnel Rashid S. Defensor from UAPSA MCM. Ready na po ba kayo, Mr. Arnel?
Ready na po. Good afternoon,
Alright.
everyone.
Good afternoon po. So, sir panelists, go na po sa gisahan at tanungan.
Sige, I'll start na lang. Okay. So, hi Arnel. So, I've seen in your platforms earlier, you have this parang goal of empowerment, right? So my question is, online classes have been really difficult for our members to the point that it affects our mental health. So how can the organization extend its help to our members that experiences mental health concerns? Yun lang.
Um, I'm sorry, I did not hear the latter part po. How would we extend
Yeah, how
the
can the organization extend its help to the members that experiences mental health concerns?
Oh, okay. So actually that is a very good question. As I've reported from the earlier, I one of my platforms is empathetic leadership. So I believe empathy is a very essential part of leadership. So all of their concerns, mental health should be taken into consideration. And yes, we should use our platform as an organization to like address these concerns. Actually, in our chapter, I encouraged the chapter board to actually really address this concern. And yes, through being proactive in addressing this concern, I believe we could solve this problem.
Okay, thank you.
Hello, Arnel. Can you hear me?
Hi, Apo.
Hi.
Hello
So
po.
I want to address a question for you. As the pandemic has plagued us for more than a year now, how do you suppose you're going to make real connections and genuine friendships through events with the social distancing protocols upon us? Kasi yun yung sabi mo sa platform mo. You want to make real connections and genuine friendships. How are you going to do that with the pandemic upon us and the social distancing protocols?
Yes, thank you for that question. Actually, that solution is because of the pandemic. It's not I proposed that solution because of the pandemic. We should make relationships more beyond the screens. I believe establishing relationships. This will be possible by really introducing chapters and really introducing our members to with each other, and encouraging our chapters and districts to 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 collaborate with each other. Also, um yeah, actually that's it. Really encouraging them to speak out for what they think is for making more fun events. Actually, that's the most essential part, and really encouraging them to engage. Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, can everyone hear me?
Apa.
Hi, Arnel. Am I clear to you? All right. So here's my question for you. Since you're running for the vice president or for Area D, what do you think is the major problem in your area, and how can you contribute to solve most of it? Like, what's your relevance to the area?
To actually the most as of now, I believe the problem really is um the the connection with other chapters. I believe for the past year, I've never really met other members from other chapters except from the organizing committee I've worked with. So I think I could contribute to that by really encouraging them, as I've reported in my platforms, in my plan of action, really encouraging them to collaborate with each other and to establish relationships, ask questions with each other beyond what they like, really evaluate their beliefs, their way of thinking, so that we could adhere to their common interests, and actually um, establish these relationships as a united network of young architects. Thank you.
Hi, Arnel. In line then with the last question of Miss Zhu, Area D is known for its unity, ika nga, One Love, One Area D, and yung sa'yo ngayon, yung hashtag Mindanawan. However, it is very visible then that Area D has the least participation in different events, kahit na online, may it be national, area, and district events. What are your plans of action in addressing this issue for the upcoming fiscal year?
Um, Thank you for that question. Actually, hashtag One Love One Area D is a very personal hashtag for me because my first event that was the leadership training in Bukidnon, and that was the hashtag, and it really is personal for me. So with regards to the engagement within the Area D and for the national events, I think um, we could really address this concern by um, instead of just encouraging them to join these events, we should emphasize the importance of these events for them and how they will benefit from it. I think it would really help if our chapters is proactive in encouraging their members and rewarding them for at least engaging in these events.
Alright, thank you so much, Mr. Defensor and our panelists. Meron pa po ba kayong mga katanungan? Okay na po tayo? Alright, I can see nodding of heads po. So maraming salamat. And maraming salamat po, Mr. Defensor,
Thank
for
you.
answering that questions. Okay, let us have our Vice President for Area B, Miss Mary Joyce M. Gayanino from UAPSA DLSUD. Ayan, grabe po mga panelists. Para po ako yung kinakabahan sa ating candidates, no? Hello po, Miss Mary Joyce. Are you ready sa question?
Yes. Yes, good
Alright.
afternoon pa. Ready naman po.
Okay. Sige po, our panelists, you may start your questions.
Sige, mauna ulit ako. Hi, Mary.
Hi,
Hi.
Richmond. Good
I hope you remember
afternoon.
me.
Of course.
Yeah. So I have this question for you. Since you're representing Southern Luzon as a whole, right, as VPD. So there are groups circulating online where people are doing do-it-yourself or DIYs. As a large architecture organization that affects the student body, do you think that these groups help the organization and the profession on showing the importance of hiring an architect?
Thank you for that wonderful question, Richmond. I believe this question is really much relatable, especially when it comes to our profession, because we believe that us architects, as designers, do believe that we study and educate ourselves in order to design the current and needed expectations, since we analyze what is really needed. When it comes to the DIY, I believe that in such things as simple as ramen or things that we see in TikTok nowadays is a very virtual thing that we see now in online. But we can also say that when it comes to the profession itself, it's a matter of respecting the person and the profession itself that would help us to be able to understand where is the boundary, where is the limit that people have to take when it comes to this situation. Because there are going to be times that there is a limit, but there are going to be times that we have to respect the people that are going through with this profession that may be offended or that may accept the situation that is happening today.
All right. Thank you, MJ.
Thank you so much.
Hello, Miss Mary Joyce.
Yes, hello po.
Sige, my question for you is, the pandemic has proven to be a difficulty when conducting events, especially in engaging the members for their active participation. How do you suppose you're going to maximize the participation of events and inspire and spark a chain of engagement with this problem ahead of you?
And thank you for the wonderful question, Miss Liberty. One of the reasons why I have put this in my general plan of actions is because of the basic thing of as my experience. Through my experience, where I have seen from my co-officers, as a person who I thought that things as such as this being a vice president is impossible, have seemed impossible. Have seemed impossible because of the fact that I have seen their passion in serving, and when you see people passionate serving for the organization, you yourself become inspired, and much more people starts of the chain that you never have expected would have realized that would have happened. So it's a matter of being able to show your passion and showing your communication with other people, especially during this online. It's our duty as leaders to be able to show that to people, especially even though we're in the online situation of this current day.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello. Am I clear to everyone?
Yes, po, clear
Hi,
po.
Miss MJ.
Hello
So
po,
here's
Ms.
my
Zu.
question for you. Since you've been part of numerous program and the national, what do you think is your strongest point, or how do you think this will help you in leading over Area B?
Thank you for that wonderful question, Ms. Zu. I believe even though people say that experience may just be half of the part of what a leader should be, I still do also believe in the fact that experience can help a person gain more knowledge and will to be able to serve. If it weren't for my experience in the UAPSA nationals as heads, I wouldn't be able to lead the people who would want, especially the people who are new in my who are going to be part of the officers that are new to this fiscal year. It would be a greater advantage rather because we can say that every person can become a leader, but a great leader comes with passion and knowledge that can be that can be brought down to the following officers. That is all. Po.
All right. Thank you so much for answering my question.
Thank you so much, po.
Okay, so thank you po to our panelists and candidates. May gusto po po bang magtanong kay Ms. MG? Okay, sige po. Maraming salamat, Ms. MJ, for answering the questions of our dear panelists. Makakahinga ka na po ng maluwag. Ayan. So, mga kayo APSA, keep showing your love and support to our candidates in the comment sections and through the chat box. So now let us have our National Auditor candidate, Ms. Jillian Jean Marie N. Serrano from UAPSA UE Caloocan.
Good afternoon po. Good afternoon, everyone.
Yes, good afternoon to our panelists. You may start asking your questions now.
Sige, I'll start again. Hi, Jillian.
Hello po, Sir
So I
Richmond.
hope that you researched naman on the position that you're running for, right?
Yes po.
Okay. Now, my question would be, earlier on your platforms, you introduced effective systems for better monitoring of audits. Could you
Yes.
give an example of what particular audit system you are proposing or suggesting?
Okay, yes po. Actually, nag-suggest po ako ng process auditing. So, meron pong nag-suggest sa akin ito. And ang process auditing includes not only yung monitor ng money, but also the process in which yung pinagdadaanan din ng money. Like for example, from the budget proposal up to the approval. Actually, kasi matagal din po kasi magpa-approve. So, I have to make sure, for example, yung sa budget proposal, tama siya sa receipt na nakukuha. Then, to make sure na transparent and yung walang missing funds. So, ayan po. Isa po yun. So, I will have to make a clearer and mas detailed na system about it. But for now, isa po yan sa mga pinaplan ko. Thank you po.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you po.
Hello, Miss Jillian Jean.
Hello po, Miss
Congrats.
Liberty.
So you're running for national auditor. My question is, what is your best selling point that will be an important asset to this organization?
I think I can offer my focus and attention to details in monitoring. Of course, kapag auditor ka, kailangan wala kang ma-overlook to make sure na yung pera and lahat ng pinapuntahan nun is nare-record and na-monitor ko. And also, hindi lang naman sa position and sa pagiging national auditor yung pwede kong i-offer. Lalo na ngayon pandemic, konti lang yung pumapasok ng money and konti lang naman yung nire-record. So I can offer my focus to details to other parts of the event. For example, the secretariat and the ways and means. So I can offer my yung pagiging hardworking, yung pagiging very OC sa details. So, ayun. Thank you po.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, Jillian. Okay,
Good
so I have a
afternoon
question
po,
for
Miss
you.
Yes po.
Good afternoon. Since you're running for the position, what do you think that the previous management lacked, and how can you better it that you are now running for the position of national auditor?
Ayoko pong sabihin na mayroon naglalak. Of course, kasi bago lang naman tayo sa online platform. So, I think instead of sabihin natin na naglack sila, gusto ko sabihin na gusto kong mas mapabetter lang. Sa preparation ko po, I asked the outgoing national auditor and asked him kung ano yung mga pwede kong i-improve pa sa term. And he suggested na let me try to look for income generating plan. So aside from the platforms and the JPOA na I have presented, I am planning to collaborate with the National Treasurer and the other people involved sa financial aspect ng organization to plan for some of the income generating plan. So, ayun po. Thank you po.
All right, thank you for that.
Thank you.
Can I still have a follow-up question?
Yes po.
Sure. So are you aware of the audit code that the former national auditor did? Audit code?
No, I haven't read it po since hindi pa daw po siya approved. But kapag nakuha ko po siya, I am planning to read it po since I am new and hindi pa ako ganun ka-experience, but I am willing to learn and give my best to fulfill my duty po as the next national auditor. Hopefully po.
Okay, right.
Thank you.
Alright, thank you so much to our panelists po, and of course to our national auditor candidate, Miss Jillian.
Thank you so much po.
Ayan, let's move on to our next candidate. Ako, grabe. Yung ano po talaga, no? Yung puso ko rin parang nag-run ng marathon para sa ating candidates. So, thank you po ulit. And let us have our National Treasurer candidate, Mr. Kerwin B. Moresca from UAPSA LPU Cavite. Mr. Kerwin. Ayan, habang hinihintay po natin si Mr. Kerwin. Ayan. Okay. Good afternoon. So, ready ka na po ba?
Yes. Kabado po.
Sige po. To our panelists, you may start now.
Sige, so I'll start naman this time. For my question, can you hear me?
Yes po, yes.
Okay. Question. What is your biggest flaw that you think you can hinder your work as the national treasurer? And how will you remedy this problem?
I think naging ano ako, I become the chapter president of LKUC in the year 2019-2020. It was push my limits as student leader because of that affiliation. However, I also find it fulfilling. Tuwing may natatapos na event kasi iba yung pakiramdam na may nagagawa ka para sa chapter mo. Yun yung nag-push sa akin para tanggapin yung offer as a DDB3. Kaya yung makitang parte ka ng mga ginagamit na instrument for change, yung ikaw ang makaka-experience ng first hand ng mga exclusive events na makakatulong sa'yo, hindi lang bilang ng isang leader, kundi as a future architect. Yun lang. Hello?
Yes, Mr. Kerwin. So, thank you po. So,
Sorry,
next po.
sorry. Sige ko na. Yeah, so national treasure is a very close to my heart position. If you've, kung napakinggan mo kanina, I'm the former national treasurer. So, ito yung question ko for you. It is challenging to go back and forth from the UAP for requests and approvals of UAPSA funds. Especially now in this pandemic, it is harder to access the UAP headquarters, right? So do you think ba that UAPSA bank account should still be under the UAP? Should still be under their approval? Or dapat bang humiwalay na yung bank account ng UAPSA just like UAPSA?
Thank you for that wonderful question. Kaya siguro under pa rin sa kanila yung UAP sa bank account kasi pera yung pinag-uusapan, not because I'm the national treasurer. Kahit may tiwala sila sa akin, kahit may position ako, pera pa rin po yung pinag-uusapan. So, mas maganda po na sa kanila pa rin under kasi sila po yung mas mataas, dapat sila yung nag-handle po na. Yun lang po.
Just a follow-up question. So, even though the process of having these funds taken out from the UAP, willing ka naman magpabalik-balik sa UAP headquarters?
Siguro ngayong pandemic, it's better na makipag-communicate na lang sa kanila through online. Kung mahirap man po silang i-reach out through Messenger, through Viber, ganyan. Siguro mas maganda pong as a national treasurer, kulitin ko.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Priel.
Hello, girl.
Hello.
Hi, girl. Good afternoon. So here's my question for you. What do you think is the most important trait or qualities or like skills of the position that you're running for? And do you think you have those?
Um, Thank you, Char. I believe that the three important qualities student, servant, leader have are humility, commitment, and dedication. A student servant leader should be humble enough to stand his own ground, committed to his work, and dedicated to push forward in establishing change in the organization. Yun lang po.
Pwede pa ba?
Alright.
Isa pa? Sorry, susulitin ko na.
Sige po. Last po.
You're the national treasurer. So, madami talagang nag-worry here because you're handling the money of UAPSA, right? So, another question would be this. Since UAPSA has decided not to collect membership fees for the fiscal year, as the national treasurer, what can you propose for the national board to create cash inflow?
Actually, their last fiscal year, nagpatupad sila ng caps, yung chapter affiliation fees where magkakaroon ka ng points kada held ng event. Yun yung marami kasing nakita kong problema na not all chapters ay nagpapasa doon. So there's something na nahihirapan sila about sa pagpapasa ng caps. So ngayong wala pa ring membership fee, yun pa rin siguro yung magiging solution para paigting pa yung UAP sa chapter sa UAP sa nationals. Yun lang po.
Okay, thank you, Auntie.
All right, thank you so much po to our panelists and of course, our National Treasure candidate. So, ayan, nakahinga ka na po ba ng maluwag, Mr. Kerwin?
Maluwag na maluwag. Thank you.
Sige po, maraming salamat. And now, let's call on our Secretary General candidate, Mr. Adon M. De La Rosa from UAPSA, DAVSU.
Hello po. Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon. Okay, so here are panelists ready na sa question mo.
Okay, I think I'll start with this. No one. Hi, good afternoon, Adon.
Hello, good afternoon.
I would just like to
Hello,
ask,
can
have
you
you
hear
had
me?
any experiences in being part of at least any secretariat team or committee in any of the events?
Yes, I do have an experience. For our last district assembly, I am the secretary together with my two other co-district directors. We organize our district assembly, and with that, I am responsible for the letters, for the invitation letters, sponsorship letters to be sent to all establishments. And I think that that experience will help me further for this position as Secretary General.
All right, thank you for that. Can I have like a follow-up question? How are
Sure.
you going to relate it, or how will be going to to be relevant in your platforms that you mentioned earlier? Like for example, for the direct sending of e-certificates for all the registrants or members.
I'm sorry, the question is.
How do you think that is relevant to the concrete platforms that you mentioned earlier?
Mm. I think for the sending of e-certificates directly to the delegates, I think that is very that is relevant and helpful to those members who doesn't have the internet, the proper internet connection, because they need to have text to they need to have more time in browsing certificates kasi ang nangyayari dinadump lang nila sa isang folder sa Google Drive, and with that may hirapan, and especially kung hundreds or even thousand yung mga attendees, magkakaroon ng difficulty kapag hahanapin yung certificate. So I come up to one of my platform na ayun nga isend sa kanila um, through their direct email yung mga certificates and cards.
All right, I'll give this word to other panels.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, hi Miss Liberty. Hello.
Hello. So you talked about the benefits of the membership cards. These benefits you speak of on the membership cards, how are you going to ensure that the partnership with these establishments are mutually beneficial for both parties involved? What can you offer to these establishments that will be equal to the benefits that they will provide?
Of course, for the benefits of the establishment, we have contracts stating that, of course, the promotions by using their logos, every event we will promote their shops advocacies, and to make sure that um, fair humor received ng both parties, fair humor received ng partner establishments as well as yung mga members, through proper communicating, and through proper agreement. I think that magkakaroon naman ng maayos na settlement between the two parties.
Okay. Hi, Adon.
Hello, Mr. Richmond.
Hi. So, while I was browsing on Facebook, I saw one of your platforms is the UAPSA website, right? So,
Yes.
I think pinag-isipan mo naman to bago mo siya ilagay, right?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so do you think UAPSA could afford the cost and time of maintaining an actual website? Hindi ba mas maganda na invest na lang ang UAPSA into Facebook engagements, premiums, something like that? Or website talaga?
Um, in-include ko yung UAPSA website for my platform because I want this to be one of the project of our term. But kailangan pa rin naman ng agreement ng board. But I think when it comes to the development of the website, I think there are a lot of people who can help us when it comes to maintaining. And since national yung apps, I think there are a lot of people who are willing to help when it comes to the YAPS's official website kung ma-approve ng board.
Right, okay. So do you have any idea lang kung how much yung website? Like follow-up lang. Sobrang
I don't
simple.
have I haven't do my further research about the website as of the moment. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Adon.
Thank you.
Alright, thank you so much to our panelists. Meron pa po ba kayong follow-up or solve na po tayo? Alright, I think solve na po tayo. So, Mr. Aidan, maraming salamat
Thank you
for
po. Thank you po.
answering the questions of our panel. So, ayan. Grabe, kinalingan naman ng ating candidates, ano? Mukhang pwede na rin silang sumabak sa Mr. and Miss UAPSA Universe. O, di ba? May mga ganong segment. Grabe na po yung ating panggigisa ngayon. Ako, baka matustado na po.
I was just warming up. Wala pa sa MP eh. Just
Kaya
kidding.
nga eh. We're actually waiting for the MP candidates.
Oo nga po. At malapit na po tayo dyan sa segment na iyan. Okay? So, ating viewers po, just keep sending your support and love sa ating mga candidates. And now, let's proceed to our National Executive Vice President candidate, Mr. Q. Nicolay M. Malabao from UAPSA ADU. Mr. Q, pumasok ka na po sa mahiwagang panel for Q&A. Ayan po, habang hinihintay natin si Mr. Q. Kamusta naman po kayo, ating mga panelists? Umuulan po ba dyan sa different part of the Philippines and the world? Grabe po tayo, ha? National and international. Kamusta naman po kayo dyan? Sige, Mizu, kamusta ka po dyan? With your lighting, no? Grabe.
Kasi it's still morning here. And okay naman yung weather. Like, they told me it's summer, pero the temperature is like 18 degrees Celsius. So, what?
Parang na-scam po, ano? It's a prank.
Scam. It's a scam. I've been scammed.
Alright, kayo naman po, Sir Richmond, kamusta naman po dyan?
So everything fine here in Batangas. I'm in Batangas right now. Pero I'm Manila-based eh. Pero since nag-BCU, kailangan din na So I hope you guys are fine then.
Yes, ayan po, no? Stay safe tayo. Opo, maraming salamat, Mr. Richmond. How about Miss Liberty? With napaka-pakak na background na purple. Ayan, ganda-ganda. Hello po, Miss Liberty. Kamusta po kayo?
Hello, I'm okay naman. Parang mas kinakabahan pa ako kaysa sa mga candidates.
Ganun po ba? Well, talaga naman po. Kahit ako po, no, minsan parang ako yung naka-hot seat pag nagki-question po kayo. Lalo na po sa national president candidates mamaya. Alright, and of course, Miss Andrea, kamusta na po kayo? Welcome back.
Hi! Good to be
Hello
back.
po.
Pawala-wala yung internet.
Ayun, no. Sige po, no problem po. O sige po, magpo-proceed na lang po muna tayo sa ating national president candidates. Ito na po. At babalikan na lang natin si NEVP candidate natin. So, let us call on Mr. Ayid John Sobretodo from UAPSA LCCB. Mr. Ayid. Right, good afternoon, Mr. Ayid. Nakamute ka pa po.
Ay, hala. Good afternoon. Oh my God.
Alright, so Get ready dahil ito na, simula na ng tapatan at tulungan with the panelists.
Okay, sige, go.
Sige, umpisahan na agad natin. Hi, Aid.
Hi.
Hi, so diretso agad tayo. Now we all know that you're up against a member of a managing committee. Experience-wise, you already knew the intricacy and roundabouts of the organization, right? So what could be your edge over his experience?
I can't hear clearly po the question po. Parang
Sorry.
ano po. Wait.
Is this better? Better ba?
Parang medyo ano siya, parang kinakain yung boses po.
From the tech side, malinaw ba yung audio ko?
Slight, may feedback.
Opo.
Sige,
Okay.
I'll adjust mo. Better.
Okay na.
Yeah. So we all know that you're up against a managing committee.
Yes.
Where he already knows the roundabouts and intricacy of the organization. So what would be your edge over his experience?
The edge of my experience was I could not tell that I am in the spotlight of the UAPSA, but I am the backstage of the UAPSA. So I am more on the hands-on works rather than the spotlight works, because I know that my fellow UAPSA members and my fellow UAPSA officers knows me how I work behind the stage, and I know that how I manage them, and I know how I took initiative as a national officer. That's all.
Wow, thank you, Aid.
Nakakaban ako, pero sige, push.
Hi, Aid.
Hi, Libby.
Galingan mo representing you up sa area Sibaya.
Kaya nga.
Can you hear me?
Yes, it's loud and clear po.
Okay. So you say sobra na todo pa, but you are a student with responsibilities, not only in academics, but also in private and social life. How far will you go for this organization when you say sobra na toda pa? Todo.
Sobra na todo pa, meaning parang full force siya. Kasi ayun nga, nung nag-start ako as this district director, I took the initiative to respond to my local chapters, especially na naging online yung setup. And I think that I am capable na to be more qualified, and I think na naging madami yung experience ko. Not only naging part ako ng behind the scenes, and also I took na naging more experience ako along the way. So it developed me to be more mature and to be more to have more analyzation to my fellow national officers. And I think I can go much further than seeing those UAPSA members with joy na nakapag-events tayo. Kasi ayun nga, we need to go outside the boundaries, and we need to see through towards the opportunities. And ayun po, parang ganun.
Thank you.
Hi, Aid.
Hi, Miss Andrea.
So, long time no see. So, currently, we're still facing a challenging and changing times. Thinking of the long run, ano yung bounce back program plan once face-to-face na? How do we prepare for that? Aside from pagbabalik sigla lang na programs, ganon. How do we prepare for the long run?
For the long run, I think one of the future possibilities for the long run is those e-libraries are very much important on the long run. Kasi ayun nga, even it's face to face, I think we're more on the digital world na. So many UAPSA members would want to access those kind of stuffs, and I think for the events, I think if ever na kahit mahihirapan yung mga mga national officers na makapagpa-events ng face-to-face, they can both choose online or face-to-face na. Kasi ayun nga, kahit distansya tayo sa ibang lugar, we can do event na more diverse. And I think it's a beginning na we can change UAPSA into a better perspective. Ayun.
A follow-up question ka lang po. Since you've mentioned diversity and diverse, how would you define and maintain diversity in the organization?
Being more diverse starts within the local chapters. Ayun nga. Parang first year, second year, third year, fourth year, hindi di ba sila magkakilala? So along the way, they show their selves as parang naging camaraderie yung isang local chapter. Parang dun nag-start yung yung branch out ng pagiging camaraderie. And along that, then it goes to the districts. So meeting up with fellow districts, then it goes out din sa areas na meeting with other parts of the districts. Then it goes with outside of the area na A, B, C, D at doon naging siya more diverse kasi it resembles a lot of parang exposure to interact with each other. So ayun.
Hello.
Hi, Zoo.
Hi, Aid. Yeah. I have a question for you, which is, which would you rather do? Working behind closed doors, like you don't care whether people will see your hardships, or do you think it's better that you are being seen? And it's okay, you go answer first.
If I were to choose, I would be behind the scenes because I would rather choose quantity than quality because I know myself that producing quality works would make a UAPSA a better platform, a better event. Kasi nga if nasa-showcase natin, dun naman parati sa behind the scenes on how do we manage teams, how do we systematize everything from event heads to the technicals, to the secretariats, to the creatives. And I think producing a quality output na naging part siya ng progress natin and it developed us much more and it helps us grow as well. So ayun. I think I would rather stay in behind the scenes rather than showing off. Parang ganun. Kasi I need to stand my ground din na to fix internals. Kasi yun na lang magbe-branch out dun nasa externals din.
Okay, just for follow-up. So for that, it's a nice answer. Where do you think you categorize yourself from those two? Like honestly.
Ano pa pakiulit po?
From those two, where do you think you categorize yourself, like your performance for the past events?
I think I can categorize my performance from my experience through the whole fiscal year. Kasi nga, ayun, naging district director ako. I took initiative to provide my local chapters on what are their concerns. Tapos, since yung BPC ko nawala, I took the ground to stand and represent my areas and lead them with the nationals. And I know that behind those scenes, I have participated in NOW, HICAP, Bugkos, Area C Assembly, UAPSA Salitaan, and NatCon. I think I have proven myself that behind those scenes, I have been more active. And I think that managing those things made a better quality output for the UAPSA community. Thank you.
All right, thank you for that.
All right, thank you so much. Sige po, Ms. Richmond.
I actually have something technical naman. Technical question.
Yes po.
What is the difference between bylaws, and policy manual?
For the bylaws and the policy manual, actually, bylaws was been approved by the UAP, while policy manual was, parang na-revise pa lang siya, pero di siya na-approve ng UAP pa. So, it's under review, yung bylaws. Yung policy manual, but while yung bylaws ay naging, na siya, i-establish na siya by the UAP. So, ayun.
Okay, thank you, Aid.
Ayun, grabe, napaka-intense ng tanungan. Meron pa po ba kayong gustong itanong sa ating mga panelists? Last call po. Baka gusto niyo pa pong kilatisin ng mabuti si Mr. Sobretodo ngayong hapon.
Sorry, pero ayun nga, parang tinapan ako, pero that's a good environment experience. Ayun nga, parang naging
Can I ask one more question?
Sige po, Miss Libo.
Let's go, Miss Libo.
So your SOBRA is an abbreviation, and A stands for Ascend Its Goals in a New Perspective. Please elaborate on this new perspective that you speak of.
I think for the Ascend, it's also a new perspective. So the goal is that you want UAPSA to ascend its goals to start within a process. So step up goals in each area. Tapos we need to help members and officers to develop their characters and boost their morale. So ayun nga, parang din tayo, not only we need to boost their morale, at the same time we want to engage them. Kasi ayun nga, it's online platform and all of the events are viewed online. And I think it's possible din na maging engaging kasi ayun nga, we want to introduce UAPSA to the new members, especially nga new members sila kasi ayun nga, we have been fighting for UAPSA for our members and not for ourselves because we serve publicly for our UAPSA members. Ayun.
Sorry, isa pa. Na-mention mo kasi na you are serving for the people, not for the position, right?
Yeah.
So why not run for NEVP instead? Why NP?
Actually, that is one of the reasons why I ran for NP. Not only because I believe that running for this position makes me more diverse. Kasi ayun nga, sa term Max, in-explain niya, she wants all areas to be diverse. So for me na din na I want to showcase how Area C should be more diverse din through the nationals. And I think it's capable for me then to showcase what my local chapters can offer and what my districts can offer and what my areas can offer to the nationals. So ayun lang po.
Galing. Thank you so much.
And can I ask again one more time?
Sulit tayo, Zu, ah.
Dami. Sige, push.
Ayan, if you are going to ask your colleagues or co-UAPSA for your performance-wise, like while being in charge of the programs, do you think they will agree that you even deserve to run for the position of national president?
Actually, seeing the performance, I think everybody knows that I also deserve the position because along the fiscal year, I took the initiative as a district director to provide solutions for my chapter, and I think for my districts, and I think that standing as a vice president for Area C on starting the ground or holding the ground, I think I am capable then to hold and to run and to represent my area. And I think for the national, I think most of the national officers I work with really knows that how I work as a officer, and work is work talaga for me. Kasi ayun nga, it is to produce a better quality output, not quantity outputs. So ayun. Chilona, okay ka pa ba dyan?
Ako, parang ako din yung ginigisa ngayong hapon na ito. May tatanungin po ata si Mr. Richmond. Meron pa po
No,
ba kayong
no, I just
pahabol?
want to thank him. Thank you, Abe.
Hello?
Okay po. Alright, maraming salamat po to our panelists and congratulations sa na nakaalpas ka na sa panggigisa ng ating mga panelists at mag-ready ka pa dahil marami pang manggigisa sa iyo, Mr. Sobretodo,
Kaya
along
nga.
with the candidates. So ayan, maraming salamat sa iyo. And now let's move on to our next national president candidate. May isa pa po tayo, ano? So, hingang malalim po sa ating panelist. Alam ko pong very eager na kayo magtanong sa kanya, kaya hindi ko na po papatagalin pa. Let's welcome Mr. Zion Enrico Licop from UAPSA, UST.
Hi everyone, good afternoon po.
Good afternoon po. So, to our panelists, go na po.
I'll start po siguro. So, Mr. Zion, given that the previous term was about diversity, how do you ensure that that will continue in this fiscal year? What is representation to you, and how do you address the homogeneity of the org with its tendency to be NCR centric?
With my platforms, I've also indicated encouraging and empowering districts, local chapters to create collaborations. This will enable them, or this will enable the national to create platforms na it's very diverse to the local chapters pa lang at district area. We would allocate events na every district or from different districts or from different areas could collaborate. And we will also encourage different partnerships and internal partnerships in order for us to promote diversity inside the organization. That's all po. Thank you.
Follow-up question lang po. Aside from encouraging the other districts and local chapters, are there any other solid plans for that, for addressing that issue?
Yes. Okay, can I answer na po?
Sure.
Okay. In addressing these issues, according to my GPOA, we will empower this through engagements. One example is allowing chapters and districts to collaborate national events. Paano? By creating an online platform or an online calendar na makikita ng bawat chapters and districts yung mga events ng iba't ibang chapters or districts para if there are similar topics that they would like to collaborate or do like to partner with, they could collaborate with each other. And then one example is, for example, we will be having a national event for this fiscal year. We will get different members from for the organizing committee from different areas and districts. Alam naman natin na nagkakaroon ng area B-centric sa organization committees. So the managing committee will also provide an avenue for every areas and every districts to deserve a spotlight in the national area. Thank you.
Hello, Mr. Zion. Can you hear
Hello
me?
po. Yes po.
So you're involved in other organizations and groups, yes?
Yes.
So as you've said, you are heavily involved in those groups. Keeping that in
Mhm.
mind, you're also a student. You must also have your personal life and social life. With all those
Yes.
obligations on your shoulders, How can you keep the balance between all those commitments without compromising your position if you were to be national president?
I ran as the national president because I am very much committed to serving the people and serving the UAPSA community. And with that in mind, I've also coordinated with my other commitments before, if I won this position, that I would be delegating my task or stepping down with these other commitments because my priority for this fiscal year is UAPSA since I run for the highest position possible. Thank you very much, po.
Hello? Can you hear me better?
Yes po, pero medyo mahina po yung audio.
How about this one? Okay ba?
Yes, yes, better
Okay.
po.
Okay. So hi Zion.
Hello po, good
Here
afternoon.
is my question for you.
Mhm.
You kind of been really vocal about your intention to be the national president of UAPSA for the
Mhm.
past few years.
Mhm.
Did you just use your former positions as a stepping stone to become the national president?
Um, no, I did not use my former position as a stepping stone to become the national president. I used my position to serve others and to inculcate myself within the organization. My purpose and my commitment to the organizations are pure, and I am very much committed. And with my experience with UAPSA as the executive associate from the very first, I started with the smallest position in our organization, and I've climbed up and become part of many activities in the organization. That's why I use it as a learning process, not a stepping stone, but a process and as a journey as a leader. Maraming salamat po.
Okay. Thank you, Zion.
Thank you po.
Hi, Zion. Can you hear me? Am I
Hello
clear?
po.
I'm having a
Yes po.
bad internet connection.
Yes po. Clear naman po.
All right, since it will be like a follow-up question to what Sir Richmond said. So,
Okay. Yes po.
since you said you use it as a stepping stone and you served the ABSA community, would you consider that you have achieved or at least barely fulfilled your responsibility as efficient as possible whilst you were still in office? Let's swerve away from your outside organization.
Yes. I became efficient as part of the managing committee this past fiscal year. Kahit na yung mga roles outside of the national auditor, I was able to utilize or nagawa ko rin. I've extended my help to the quadripartite as I become the event head. I've extended my help to the outreach committee or during the National Architecture Week and even district assemblies. I participated in every event throughout the fiscal year. I've supported and helped the managing committee guide the whole UAPSA community and whole National Board of Directors. Ayun po.
All right. I still have follow-up questions for you. Is it okay?
Yes po.
Can
Yes
I
po.
like
Yes
go
po.
straight? Okay, so I'm going to ask you what I asked Mr.
Mm.
Aid earlier.
Yes po.
So first is if we were going to ask your colleague or your co-UAPSA officers for your performance-wise, or whether you deserve being in position, do you think they will agree that you even deserve to run?
In my perspective, my actions speak louder than words and their others' opinions. And with my actions with the previous fiscal year, I know that my co-peers and co-members of UAPSA and officers would agree that I am very much deserving, very much equipped in becoming the national president for this fiscal year. With my capabilities and with my background and with my help through UAPSA can be a better version of themselves even in the pandemic. Ayun po.
Okay. I'll let the other panelists ask you questions first. I'll go back to you
Okay
in a
po.
while.
Yes po.
Okay, I have another one, Zion.
Yes po.
So this is more on relevance naman on political issues or something like that.
Okay.
So do you think that personal social media accounts and posts of UAPSA officers should be filtered and controlled? Does their personal post reflect the stance of the organization?
Uh, The only thing that we can do as UAPSA national or officers is remind our co-officers to be cautious on what they post, to be relevant, and to be socially aware on how they are doing, and encourage them to conduct proper etiquette online. But we cannot impose, because if we impose that we should limit their posts or stance in social media, we are restricting them from their rights. So the only thing we can do is encourage, remind, and be there for them for advice. Ayun po.
That's right. Thank you, Zion.
Thank you.
Hello, may question pa ako.
Okay po.
What can you do to help your officers or your members of UAPSA with regards to their mental health and with the pressures of events that UAPSA schedules for them? It's not always na makakapag-event yung mga chapters, especially the ones who are far away, and may mga very few participations. So there's the pressure for them to catch up or to actually make more events for the points. How will you help them with their, not really help, pero how would you remedy the fact na there's the pressure on these students and officers?
Regarding this, to avoid burnout and to relieve the pressure of everyone, I've indicated in my general plan of action that we would be promoting more of collaborations and community or local-based events. So in order for this, that would allow those communities or those areas within their districts would be collaborative and more engaging and create a support system within them. We cannot assure you na may iwasan yung mga burnout, but by creating those support system would also ease and help those students who are in need, and would also help everyone, because sabi nga nila, 'di ba, empowerment is the key to everything, lalo na ngayon sa pandemic setup. Thank you po.
Hello?
Hello po.
Ayan, hi, Zion. Okay, I'll ask you again. Wait.
Yes
I'm
po.
lagging. Am I clear? Can you hear me clearly?
Yes po, I can hear you clearly.
Okay, so here's another question that I asked from Eid earlier. So, which would you rather do? Working behind closed doors like you don't care whether people see your hardships, or do you think it's better that you are being seen? And honestly, where are you going to categorize yourself from those two?
Okay. As running for the national president of UAPSA, I admired yung internal works natin and lahat ng ginagawa natin inside. But being the leader and being the frontliner, you have to be there. Dapat nandun ka sa labas. Dapat nakikita ka nila na you're engaging with them. Because you're the frontliner eh. And it's very important to have this person standing in front of the whole organization as a light bearer of the organizations in these trying times. So I consider myself as a person who will be there outside. Kahit tumutulong tayo sa loob, we should always be there na nasa labas tayo to guide everyone. Sabi nga nila, ang isang leader ay may alam na 3 posisyon. Sa harap na kung saan ikaw ang nagli-lead, sa gitna na kasama mo yung mga members mo, at sa huli na kung saan titignan mo kung umuusad ba yung organisasyon mo. Muli, maraming salamat po.
Wow. Wow. Zion, another question. Bakit hindi kita iboboto?
I have still a follow-up question last time. Do you think which is better, is the facade or the core?
With align my...
Sorry, I'm having a bad...
Start na po ba? Okay. With my objectives and my platforms, babalik at babalikan natin yung core at objectives ng UAPSA. Because this is the guide, and I choose the core. It's very important because this is our basis as an organization. Titignan natin what works and what does not, and how can we improve it. Kasi every year, dapat binabalik-balikan natin tong core ng UAPSA. Kasi iba't iba yung nangyayari bawat taon, iba't ibang sitwasyon. At babalik tayo sa purpose ng organization. Ayun po. Thank you.
Okay, it's my turn, Zion.
Okay po.
Yeah, okay, go ahead,
Let's say,
Sean. Sorry.
sure. Let's say that I'm a voter. Bakit
Yes.
hindi kita iboboto?
If you're a voter at hindi mo ako iboboto, uh, it depends on you. It's very subjective. Nakadepende sa yan if you see me actively in the organization or not. But I know that I did my well in part of the organization to vote, to have the right to run for the national president position, and I am doing my best to uplift the organization. Your perspective is subjective. I cannot impose kung anong pwede mong gawin, but I can only share the things that I've done and my experiences to give you a perspective kung bakit mo ako kailangan iboto. Ayun po.
Okay, wow. Thank you, Zion.
Thank you po. Maraming salamat po sa inyo. If you have any questions pa po ba?
I have
Ay, may
another one.
question.
Okay po.
Sige, si ano lang muna.
Ako din, I have clarification, pero go ahead.
Sige. We've all known na we use the CAPS system for
Yes.
this fiscal year.
Yes.
Do you think it had been effective in encouraging the chapters and members in joining the events? Will you continue the system? If not, what changes will you do?
As we've mentioned before in the chapter meetings assembly, the chapter presidents also raise concern regarding these caps. Merong mga chapters that who cannot really maintain or who cannot really push with this system. Kaya this would have a proper evaluation with the next managing committee, if ever, para titigan natin kung anong what works and what does not, and pag-iisipan natin what improvements that we can done. Ayun po.
So, I have another question po.
Yes po.
So, as a leader, you should be willing to accept that you do make mistakes sometimes.
Yes.
What would you say is your biggest flaw? And do you think will it hinder your role as the national president?
My biggest flaw as a leader is becoming too much idealistic sometimes, because sometimes we tend to be very idealistic and positive about things. But this should not be the perspective. Dapat inaalam rin natin yung worst case scenario para very prepared din tayo as a leader. Magkakaroon tayo ng contingency plans or plans na if ever may plan B. And we will plan ahead of time para if ever may mga mali or hindi magandang nangyari sa organization, we could address these concerns. Ayun po.
All right, thank you so much po. I think my last question na po si Mizu, Sir
Yes
Zion. Mizu, andyan
Oh,
po
the
ba?
last.
Yes.
Yes, I'm here. I'm having super bad connection.
Okay
Ayun,
po.
I would just like to ask regarding your performance this fiscal year.
Yes.
The same question with what you answered for you as running to be the national president. So
Yes po.
basing on your performance this fiscal year, which would you rather do? Like working behind closed doors, like you don't care whether the people or whether the people see your hardships, or do you think it's better that you're being seen? And honestly, where do you categorize yourself from that?
Oh, I think I've answered this before. Running as a position with, we acknowledge the presence of the internal
No,
committees.
not running as a position. Being
Okay.
your performance from NA.
For the NA, as titingnan ko po kung evaluate
Yeah.
if more on internal or external ako as the NA po ba? Am I right?
Oh my God, sorry, I can't hear you properly.
Oh,
Sorry,
can you
what
clarify?
is that again?
At base po yung sa performance ko as a national auditor po. And then,
Yes,
will I
yes, yes.
evaluate myself po ba?
Yeah, and then where do you categorize yourself? Like as an NA, do you think that you are working with the people internally, or are you most likely going out there and trying to be seen by other people?
As as part of the managing committee and national auditor, I've did my best to work internally. For example, I volunteered to become to help in the Ways and Means Committee, finding sponsors, to have a partnership dun sa mga iba't ibang businesses para magkaroon ng partnership yung membership cards natin. And internally, marami naman tayong nagagawa, pag-help sa organizing committees and pagbigay ng advice and guide dun sa mga uh, um, event heads na gumagawa ng event sa buong taon. And I consider myself working internally, but as part of the managing committee, hindi rin naman may iwasan na you also work externally or sa harap ng mga tao because you are part of the guiding body of the UAPSA National. Thank you po.
All right. Okay. Super last, I just want to clarify kasi I saw
Yes po.
your PubMat.
Yes po.
That you said that the 93 chapters of UAPSA. Is it
Yes po.
really 93?
I've asked the membership committee head po, Mark J. Blas, and this is the number po he gave to me. So, I've clarified po muna, and ayun po yung binigay niya sa akin exact number.
All right.
Because,
All right.
yeah,
I thought,
thank you.
yeah. Yeah, okay.
All right, thank you so much to our panelists and to our national president candidate, Mr. Zion Enrico Lico. Maraming salamat
Maraming salamat
po.
po.
All right. Grabe. Grabe, intense. Whew. Okay po, tayo po ay huminga. At syempre po ating babalikan ang ating National Executive Vice President candidate. So again, maraming salamat po sa ating panelists. And ayun. So atin na pong papasukin si Mr. Q. Nicolay M. Malabaw from UAPSA ADU. Ayan, Mr. Q. Okay, sige po. So as we wait, nako ladies and gentlemen, mga ka-UAPSA, show naman your reaction dun sa ating first part. First part pa lang yun ng part 2 natin sa tapatan at tanungan. Meron pa po tayong second and third part. So, yung second part natin ay questions from our NBDs. And then our last segment for this part, ang tapatan at tanungan, will be a face-off. So, ang dami po pong aabangan. So, standby lang kayo dyan, mga ka-UAPSA. Share your thoughts and comments in the comment section. Show your support. Nako, ano bang na-feel nyo? Grabe, na-feel nyo rin ba yung intense na gisahan ng ating mga candidates ngayong hapon? Nako, ang puso nyo ba ay para ding tumatakbo sa nerbiyos para sa kanila? So, ayun. So, I hope that you guys were able to really listen to their answers and to also note down yung kanilang mga shinare during that Q&A. And ayun, maraming salamat ulit sa ating panelists. At nandito na ang ating NEVP, Mr. Q. Nicolay Malabaw. Ayan. At ating ng mga panelists, andito na po sila ulit. Nako, magsimula na po tayo sa ating tanungan.
Sige, ako lang muna yung magtatanong. Mr. Q, are you there?
Hello po. Yes po.
Sige, so as the running candidate for the position of an EVP, you have tremendous pressure on your shoulders. How are you going to execute your role effectively when there's the pressure on you to do better than your preceding national executive vice presidents?
I actually agree that there's a lot of pressure for me as running for the position of NEVP, but I would try my best to handle it by managing my tasks and scheduling them well ahead of time so we won't have to wait for the last minute to decide who will be the candidate.
Alright, thank you so much po, Mr. Malabao. To our panelists, meron pa po bang gusto magtanong to our NEVP candidate?
Hello.
Hi, sure.
Hi, am I clear?
Yes po.
Hi Q. So ayun, I just want to know kasi I've seen the word micromanaging in your platforms and what you've been telling earlier. I just want to know if you have a personal context when it comes to micromanagement.
Naku po, pasensya na po, Mizu. Mukha pong nawala ang ating NEVP candidate. I think he is experiencing some
Yeah.
technical difficulties and internet connection problems din po.
Yeah, alright.
Sige po, I'll just wait for the advice din po ng ating mga accreditation or is with them. So, ayan po, maraming mga nagko-comment na mga kayo-apsa rin natin. Ako, hating-hati po yung support for our NP candidates, Mr. Ayid or Mr. Zion. Grabe. Kamusta naman po kayo? Sumakit po ba yung mga ulo nyo sa pagtatanong sa kanila? Ano po?
No.
Parang napaos
Okay
na.
lang naman.
Yes.
Kasi I think it's really our right to know and to question and scrutinize all of our running people for the positions kasi we're all going to be part of their service. They swore to serve us, so I think we all have the rights to do that and to question their credibility even more. So yeah.
Yes. Totally po, Miss. Yes po, Mr. Richmond.
Yeah. Actually, I would like to congratulate them agad because you've seen naman on how tough the questions of the panelists are. So, grabe, ang galing nila. And hands down, and I think the people or the UAPSA members should really listen to this afterwards or even as replay because this will really show kung sino ba yung dapat talaga nilang iboto.
Yes, that is so true po talaga. And totoo po talaga I totally agree and I strongly agree with everything that you have said po sa ating panelists. Talaga naman, kaya mga kayo apsa, nako, after this live, ulit-ulitin niyo po ito before you vote for August 17 to 18, lalo na ating mga tanungan sessions with our panelists and later sa ating mga NBDs and to our audience at sa Face Off. So, ayan. Maraming salamat po. At ako po muna ay magsha-shoutout. Baka may gusto po kayong i-shoutout, dear panelists. Mga naging area nyo po, mga colleagues nyo po, baka gusto nyo pong i-shoutout. Meron po ba? O sige, ako na lang po muna yung shoutout sa kanila. Ano? So, shoutout po kay Anthony Dayon. Hi po, Richmond Rojas. Huwag nyo naman po galingan, manggisa sir. Ayan. Alright, maraming salamat po. Max Lumbera, pa-face reveal naman. Nico Malabaw, yun nga po. Sana ma-face reveal at maayos na ang kanyang internet connection. From Mr. Anthony ulit, Mr. Richmond Rojas, Best in Audio Presentation Gold Medalist.
I'm really sorry guys, hindi ako techie. Hindi ko maayos.
Pa-shoutout daw po kayo na napakaganda. Siyempre, ang ating tatlo dito, napaka-fresh. Napakaganda ng ating mga panelists. Naku po, pwede na po sa mga Miss and Mr. UAPSA Universe. Ayan, baka naman po, di ba? Matuloy po yon. Ayan, so again to all our national board of directors and chapter presidents who are incumbent and outgoing, please do register. Nako, last call na po. So please do register, makiisa, makibahagi, at mag-register na for UAPSA National Elections 2021. Ayan, meron po sinabi si Mr. Curlwin, napakaganda ni Miss Max. Then also, ayan, ni Miss Andrea and Miss Liberty. Yes, of course. Napaka naman po. At syempre, napakagwapo ni Mr. Richmond, di ba? Lahat ng panelists natin, fresh na fresh for this afternoon. Pinaghandaan nila, nagisahin kayo, at kilalanin ang mga candidates, syempre. So, Miss Zu, kamusta ang goto dyan sa Prague? Miss Zu, meron po ba kayong may i-recommend daw po dyan sa Prague? Ayun, so
I
maraming
haven't had any gotas here. Ay, nako, JD.
Alright, ayun po. So, I think we will be proceeding na lang talaga sa next segment dahil mukhang mahirap po talaga ang internet. Yun po talaga yung isa sa mga challenges this online. Despite na mas naging, kumbaga, madali in some way to connect with others kasi madami tayong platforms, but also yung challenge talaga sa internet connection and power interruptions. Yun po talaga yung hindi natin makontrol. But anyway, ayan, maraming salamat pa rin sa ating UAPSA candidates. Ayun, to our board of panelists, maraming salamat po. And to our viewers dyan sa UAPSA official Facebook page, thank you for your active participation. Nako, grabe. I think kailangan po natin huminga ng malalim at uminom ng tubig muna. Dahil may isa pa pong gisahan na magaganap, and that's with our National Board of Directors. So, ayun. Muli, meron po ba kayong mga message, our Board of Panelists? Is it okay to ask a message from you po to our candidates and to our UAPSA members? Sige po, sino po nga gustong magsimula ng kanilang message for this UAPSA national elections? Sige po, tawagin ko na lang po. Mr. Richmond, pwede ka po bang mag-start?
Yeah, so I just hope that all of the candidates are really willing to learn because ito pinapasok niyo, it's not biro, it's not madali. I've done that already and akala lang natin sa una it is really easy, parang ano siya for additional na position panglagay sa resume or CV, hindi siya ganon. It's really hard work, guys. So I hope that you guys take this really seriously because it is a platform for us to create a change, not just within ourselves, but for also in our organization.
Alright, maraming salamat po, Sir Richmond, for that. Miss Liberty, baka po may message po kayo sa candidates and UAPSA members?
I just want to say to our incoming officers and our UAPSA candidates for national officers, I hope that you will be able to do your jobs well and know that your positions are not just stepping stones, and I hope that you will remember that the core values of UAPSA is selfless service, and we are doing this for the members, not for our own benefits.
Alright, thank you so much, Miss Libby. Miss Andrea, kayo po?
Ayan, so sa running officers, who kulang pa naman yung mga positions, but for the next fiscal year, we truly hope that you live up to your words, your promises na mga sinabi ngayon with the help of your colleagues. Syempre, for the betterment of the organization and not for personal profit. And sa members then, hopefully we practice a right to vote, lalo na sa mga NBD and chapter presidents, for both UAPSA and pati na din sa upcoming election 2022. Ayun lang. Thank
Yeah,
you.
that's
All right. Thank you so much, Miss Andrea. And of course, Miss Zhu, any words of message for the candidates, our members in UAPSA for the elections?
Yeah, I just since this is like the starting of producing new breed of leaders, like whether in large or small scale, I would just like to encourage our running candidates to please let's swerve away from the notion of being trapo. So what I mean by that is uphold your principles in life, what you tell to the people, like do them because you swore to serve them. That's why you have to fulfill them. When it comes to those people who will register to vote, I encourage you guys to vote critically because it's really important to scrutinize who are these running people to serve you because you will be part of the community that they will serve. And what I can say is like good publicity won't be able to answer your sentiments when you're demanding for good governance. So yeah.
Yes, very well said from our panelists. Again, maraming salamat po for your time and sa inyong support for UAPSA and for
Yes.
your everything po dito sa hapong na ito. Talagang na-awestruck din po ako. Wala akong masabi. Talagang saludo po kami sa inyong lahat. And we would like to extend our gratitude and we hope for the best po sa inyong lahat sa future endeavors niyo po. So maraming salamat po and stay safe po dyan kung saan man po kayo naroon. Ayan po, maraming salamat to our board of panelists. Virtual round of applause everyone para sa kanila. Ayan, thank you po.
Thank you.
Alright mga kayo-APSA, tayo na ay pupunta sa Tapatan at Tanungan Part 2. Now the questions this time would be from our NBDs. So, ayun, ating namang ulit na tawagin ang ating AVP candidate from Area D. Ayan, ready na po si Mr. Arnel Rashid S. Defensor. Okay, Mr. Arnel, here's your question from Area C. If elected, what will be your commitment to the UAPSA members in your area as well as in the nationals?
I believe as a leader, I really have the responsibility to serve my members. So my commitment is to really hear them and to really address their concerns and to empathize with them in ways that I think would be really beneficial, not just for the members, but for the entire architecture community in general. And also for the nationals, I think I could really contribute to the success of the events in the future, and even in encouraging in representing the Area D in for national events and representing their interests in national concerns of the organization. That's all. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Defensor, and we'll hold on to that. All right, let's proceed to our next candidate. We have Vice President for Area B, Ms. Mary Joyce M. Gayanilo from UAPSA DLSU D. Ayan, Ms. Gayanilo, are you ready?
Yes, ready po.
All right, this is a question from the NBDs from Area B. How are you going to connect with the students given that they do not participate on some of the events on their own will, but because of incentives or grades mandatory?
Thank you for that wonderful question from the national boards. I believe one of the reasons why we have seen during this online platform is because of the fact that incentives has become a big thing, especially during the face-to-face phases. But I believe that with a betterment of quality of our events, not going through the quantity, but rather the quality of the events. It doesn't matter to have more events, but rather to engage and make it a better improvement for them, that they may see that it may improve their leadership, that it may improve them not only when it comes to when it comes to architecture, but also in other aspects of their lives. So it's rather being able to connect with them that would help them to be able to enter these events and see how passionate we can all be together, connected as one. That's all. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for that answer, Ms. Gayanilo. And we'll hold on to that as well. So, all right. Let's proceed to our next candidate. Let's have our National Auditor candidate, Ms. Jillian Jean Mare N. Serrano from UAPSA UE Caloocan. Ms. Jillian?
Po. Sorry, merong technical error. Ayaw mag-open ng camera ko.
Okay, it's all right po. Pero, is your audio okay?
Yes po.
Okay, sige. So this is a question from the NBDs from Area B. For the past years, being the national auditor is a tough job. One of the reasons is that previous elected officers of the position have no prior knowledge or experience with the tasks, roles, and potential of the national auditor. Can you convince us that you have the knowledge or qualities that would make you efficient for this job?
I think having konting experience doesn't mean that you are not qualified for the position. As I have told you guys earlier that I am new but I am willing to learn, and as part of my preparation, kinulit ko ng kinulit si Zion, our outgoing national auditor and running for the position of president. So tinanong ko siya kung ano yung ginagawa, kung ano sa tingin niya yung mas kailangan bigyan ng attention and prioritization, and yung mga pwede pang bigyan ng improvements. That is, ginawa ko yun para magkaroon ako ng idea and alam ko kung ano pa yung pwede kong i-offer and ano pa yung pwede kong i-improve. So, that would be all. Thank you po.
All right. Hello?
Hello.
All right. Thank you so much, Ms. Serrano, for
Thank you
your
so
answer and for your humility na talagang every day is a learning experience. All right.
Thank you.
So let's move on to our next candidate for our national treasurer, Mr. Kerlwin B. Moresca, UAPSA LPU Cavite. All right. Ready na po ba kayo?
Yes po.
All right. So this is a question from NBDs from Area B. Do you think that it is more effective to have chapter presidents explain the finance status of the organization to their members for them to better understand the financial matters of the organization?
Yes, I believe na mas magiging effective ang pag-explain sa CPs about financial status ng kanilang respective chapters since mas may kakayahan silang mag-explain sa mga kakilala nila. However, I also believe that it is the entity's responsibility na i-explain muna ng maayos sa mga CP ang financial status ng chapter nila kasi may mas grasp ang NT sa overall standing ng financial records ng buong UAPSA as well as answering frequently asked questions if ever may mag-exist na confusion. And I thank you.
All right. Okay pa ba? All right. Yes. Thank you so much, Mr. Moresca. Nako. Very well said. So, let's move on to our Secretary General candidate, Mr. Adon M. De La Rosa from UAPSA DAVS. All right, so here's your question, Mr. Adon. What experience do you have relating to the role of the SG that makes you deserving of the position?
Thank you for the question. I think for the experience-wise, as a chapter president during the fiscal year 2019 to 2020, I've worked with my secretary, and with that, nalaman ko kung papaano yung kalakaran as a secretary. And I've worked with her with the letters and with the invitation letters na kailangan for our events. And I think that that experience, I know that that experience is not enough, but I am willing to learn and to improve my capabilities to be an effective Secretary General for the fiscal year 2021 to 2022.
Mhm. All right. Thank you so much, Mr. De La Rosa, for your answer. All right. Up next, let us have our NEVP, Mr. Q. Nicolai M. Malabao. Mr. Q, dito po ba siya? All right, Mr. Q. Nicolai M. Malabao. Have you recovered from the internet connection? So ayun, ladies and gentlemen. So I think he's still experiencing some internet connection problems. So let's proceed to our national president candidate. Alright, atin ang tawagin si Mr. Ayid John Sobretodo. Mr. Ayid, ready ka na ba sa question mo? Oh, sorry, Mr. Zion po pala. Sorry, Miss. Hello po, Mr. Zion. So, ready na po ba kayo sa
Hello.
question?
Yes po, ready naman.
Okay, sige po. So, here's your question from the NBDs from Area C. All right. Your online advocacies are praiseworthy, and we are aware that you have been part of the organization as an officer for the past years and served as part of the managing committee for the past term. We are just curious why your strong advocacies have not been put into action or reflected much in the org, considering you had a voice as one of the managing officers of UAPSA.
With that, it is a continuous process kasi tuloy-tuloy pa rin natin ina-apply advocacies, and it started with by engaging our members and incorporating social advocacies in different events. We cannot create statements, but we can create avenues. One example is we tried to incorporate Tao Pilipinas in the National Architecture Week, and mas maraming avenues pa tayong pwedeng gawin since we are still trying to survive the last fiscal year, and the goal was to survive, not really to adapt. But with our experience and as a part of the National Board of Directors, mas makikita natin ngayong fiscal year kung paano ba natin pwedeng i-apply yung social advocacies na ito. Tuloy-tuloy pa rin yung proseso kasi hindi dapat titigil yung pag-push sa social advocacy sa isang organization. Ayun po, maraming salamat.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Likop, for your answer. So, babalikan ka po namin mamaya. All right, let's proceed to our next national president candidate, Mr. Ayid John Sobretodo. Mr. Ayid, ready ka na ba sa question mo? Mr. Ayid? All right, so here's your question. Being an officer that served and led his chapter and some other chapters of the area, it may be evident that you are experienced and have the managerial qualifications. So as a candidate for NP this year, what is your main goal and general advocacy for the organization?
For the main goal, I think what I have learned in my experiences, I think I can apply it to the organization. Ayun nga, hindi naman tayo naging officer dahil dahil hindi tayo experienced. Ayun nga, we're leaders kasi ayun nga, we need to have set goals. And that goals, I think, is along the way, we need to develop together as well. Kahit na mahirapan tayo sa loob ng pagpapagawa ng events, kahit nahihirapan tayo sa pag-manage ng events, at the end of the day, we still need to build ourselves and also to develop down the way. Kaya nga minsan nahihirapan din ako maging kasi I need to adapt with the online setup. And I have become more mature along the way, kaya nga sa tulong ng mga officers. And my advocacy, I think, is more on how to develop along the way, along with my officers. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Sobretodo, for your answer to that question. And before we proceed to the last question, I'll give this time to our National Board of Directors who are with us. I'll give this time to our National Board of Directors who are with us in Zoom to give your questions to any of the candidates. I'll be reading, or we'll be catering at least 2 to 3 questions lang po because of our time. So for our National Board of Directors who are present in the Zoom, please do send in your questions to our COMELEC who are present there and who are the moderators in Zoom so that we can deliver it to the candidates. So kahit sino pong candidates na tumatakbo, pwede nyo pong tanungin our national directors, our National Board of Directors. So, ayun po, mag-comment na lang po kayo or mag-chat sa chat box sa Zoom if you have any questions and who is it directed to. Ayan. Grabe. So, ayun po, kung may mga katanungan po kayo at kung may gusto pa kayong maipaabot, no, upang kilatisin pa ang ating mga candidates this afternoon, then please do send in your question sa chat box or the comment to our NBDs. Ayan. Maraming salamat po ulit as we wait for them to give us their questions or follow up. Ayan, maraming salamat ulit sa ating mga kayu-APSA na sumusubaybay ngayong hapon. Maraming salamat po sa inyong support, no? Through the comment section. Nako, napakadami naman. Kaya I hope that you guys will really exercise your voting rights, lalo na sa ating National Board of Directors and Chapter President. So kung hindi pa po kayo nakakapag-register, mag-register na. Makiisa, makibahagi, at mag-register na para sa UAPSA National Elections 2021. Ayan. So, kung wala na pong mga katanungan, nako, is it okay to proceed na lang po tayo? To also save our time, nako. Grabe, at yung pagkigisa at pagkikilatis. At talagang tama naman yung sinabi rin ng panelists natin. We have the right to know their platforms, no? Ano ba yung mga reasons nila, their whys on why they want to be of service to UAPSA, ano yung mga kaya nilang i-contribute at i-offer sa organization and to other members as well. So, vote wisely sa ating mga voters. At pero, syempre, kailangan mag-register muna kayo. So, I guess we can proceed to the last question po sa ating last question for the Q&A part 2. Pwede po ba natin balikan ang last question na slide, Ms. Lev? Ayan. So, ating balikan na po to both of our running national president candidates. Ayan. Sila po ay bumabalik. All right. So, ready na po ba kayong dalawa? So, we'll still follow the order na lang po ng introduction. So, Mr. Licup and then Mr. Sobretodo. So, if you APSA face red tagging, how will you protect the organization and the students? Is keeping silent the best option to avoid getting red tagged?
Kahit sino po yung pwedeng sumagot?
Mr. Licup, ikaw na po muna.
Okay.
Tapos
okay. Kapag nangyari po ang red tagging sa organization natin, bear in mind na members pa rin yung mga red tag sa atin. So hindi, as part of the national committee or NBDs, hindi dapat natin iiwan yung mga members natin along the way. At ang prosesong mangyayari dito is we will coordinate with UAP and dun sa local schools or administration ng students na red tag. And we will ask advice for legal aid. And tuloy-tuloy yung proseso at hindi dapat natin iiwan yung mga members na red tag. Ayun po, maraming salamat.
All right, thank you, Mr. Licup. Now let's have Mr. Sobretodo to answer the question.
If you also face red tagging, how will you protect the organization and students keeping silent the best option to avoid red tag? I think for me, it's more on the side of how do we know, parang unahin natin muna yung core. We need to analyze the problem. And meron tayong policy manual. There are conditions there, and we don't want our members din na magka-right tag. If that were to happen, I think we need to assess the situation and bring this up to the UAP. And I think that we should be more aware that social media is a dangerous platform, because I know that when you post something on social media, it gets publicized and everybody sees on the social media. And I think we need to help them, because kahit nasa online setup tayo, we need to be careful on who are we seeing and who are we watching, who are we sharing these kind of activities. Ayun. So we should also give parang like i-manage sila din. Ayun.
All right. Thank you so much to our national president candidates. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. So we will proceed to the last portion, and that is the face-off of our candidates vying for national president position. So the face-off will contain 3 questions to be answered by both candidates. The questions will cover UAPSA-related issues. The order will be determined through a toss of a coin by our moderator, Miss Ain Kyla Gatpolintan. So Miss Ain, take it away. Miss Ain? Naghahanap pa po ata ng barya para sa ating toss coin. So, ayan po, breathe in, breathe out po muna sa ating mga national president candidates. So, kamusta naman po? Pwede na po kami intermission na. Ayan na.
Ayan na po si Miss
Ayan na po si Miss Ain. So, Miss Ain, take it away po.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, for the tossing of coin, Mr. Sobretodo and Mr. Licup will be choosing either heads or tails. Once the coin is tossed, the candidate who chose that side of the coin facing up will be the first to answer, followed by the next candidate. This order will be followed for the rest of the following questions. Mr. Sobretodo and Mr. Licup, you can now choose heads or tails.
Heads.
Tails.
Okay, here we go. Are you guys ready?
Yes.
Okay. Wait lang, ngayon nalaglag isa ko. Okay, tails.
Okay.
Alright. So, si Mr. Lico po ang mauuna. So, ready na po ba kayo, Mr. Zion?
Yes, I'm ready.
Alright. So, let's have our first question. Alright, our first question. Alright. Students' active participation became even more challenging in the current virtual setups. If you were to be elected as the national president, how do you plan on addressing this?
The first part of my action plan was more on streamlining events and reprogramming our events. Because here we are going to analyze our events kung makikita natin dito what works and what does not, and ano yung mga effective ways to gather events and engage with our students. And as part of the GPOA rin is strengthening the Ways and Means Committee para mas magkaroon tayo ng membership partners or event partners to engage our members in continuing or being with us throughout the event. Also, by having streamlining events, it would have a certain goal for different events na pwedeng mapuntahan ng each member natin. Ayun po, maraming salamat.
Thank you, Mr. Lico. Now let's have Mr. Sobretodo to answer the question.
Since student active participation, I have that also in my GPOA, which is under the boundless opportunities for its members and responsive to the concerns of different areas. So members need various activities to improve their talents and skills. And on the other side, each member has its own problems and concerns with different aspects. Lacking of responsiveness is the most common that can achieve the growth to the chapter. So ayun nga, we need also to analyze din na hindi lang dapat tayo na let's also consider din the chapter officers, chapter president, vice president, yung mga chapter commissioners din on why what is the main problems, bakit hindi naging engaged yung ano. We can provide those solutions through na ano na if we can analyze the problem and we can engage na doon sa ano mismo, sa event na mismo. Kasi ayun nga, it requires also to analyze all problems, and I think we need to have an open innovation to provide more skills and talents to enhance our members. And that's all. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Sobretodo. And of course, Mr. Lico. So let's proceed to the second question. If you are elected as national president, how will you solve frequent issues of the organization, which is the membership concern, as a whole, process of reaffiliation, disbursement of certificates?
Regarding this, we will harness the digital tools of the national, and then we will also coordinate with the membership kung ano ba yung mas effective na way to distribute the certificates. We will also coordinate with the chapters kung ano yung mas visible for them, mas nakikita nila. And for me, the distribution of yung real cards na nahawakan natin is very inappropriate during these times. Mas mahihirapan tayo sa feasibility and sa logistics. Better if we distribute it online, and it depends on the chapter on how would they distribute it or disseminate it. Kasi yung minsan mauubos yung oras natin sa pag-distribute pa lang, kahit sa face-to-face setup. So we are going to create different solutions online para mas engaging or mas ma-distribute yung membership certs or cards.
Yes, that's right. Thank you so much, Mr. Lico. Now, Mr. Sobretodo, it's your time to answer the question.
Since I have become a district director, I've known membership concerns were arising. So in order for that, it's under my general plan of actions, which means to strengthen the reinforcement membership guidelines during the membership. Ayun nga, due to the problems arising nga, dapat natin aayusin muna yung guidelines para din mapadali yung mga membership drives, yung mga chapter affiliation files, yung mga partner establishments, semestral events, for the amendment of the caps or the chapter appoints contents na ibibigay doon, kung anong requirement na to re-affiliate para hindi ma-burden yung chapter mismo. Tapos sa points naman, I think it will still go on kasi ayun nga, it's a part of a progress din. So ayun.
All right. Thank you so much. So, ito na po ang ating last question para sa face-off na ito. So, should UAP require UAPSA members to volunteer to their respective UAP Matter chapters?
In my perspective, UAP should not require, but they could encourage students. Hindi sila pwede mag-imply na UAPSA students, you should volunteer for us. But they could partner with us, they could submit a agreement, and then pag-iisipan muna syempre ng members. Katulad nga nung nangyari nung balangkasan before, na pinag-usapan ito na regarding this organizing committee, and and yung sa resolution dito is magkakaroon ng agreement before maging volunteer ang isang UAPSA members. Ayun po, more on encouragement and not require. Maraming salamat.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Lico. Now, let's have Mr. Sobretodo.
For us, I think we should not require UAP, but to encourage them. Kasi ayun nga, there was a balangkasan in the 2021. It was indicated there na hindi natin mako-force yung students na makapag-under sa kanila na magpapatek. Pero ayun nga, we should encourage them to join kasi nga ayun nga, it's outside the learnings kasi ayun nga, sa school maliit lang yung pino-provide na education, while sa UAP they provide more solutions aside from events. They can provide more academic approach. They can provide more engaging approach like competitions. So it engages students to be more active and to be more competitive at the same time. So it leads to a global competent UAPSA members din. So both international and national. So ayun.
All right, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Ako, napakagaling naman ng ating mga national president candidates. Pati po ako, sumasakit ng ulo, no? Sa paano ba ang voting? Dahil alam natin na they all have their own strengths. So, ayan, let's leave it up to our voters habang kanilang pinipresent at they are listening to your answers as well this afternoon. So, ayun, ladies and gentlemen, dyan na nagtatapos ang sagupaan, harapan at tanungan sa ating mga UAPSA candidates. Nako, ngayon pa lang, congratulations to all of you and we salute you for having the courage to take up this challenge and apply to be in service to UAPSA. Let's give ourselves a big round of applause. Ayan. So before we end, may I call on our very dynamic, hardworking, and beautiful canvassing committee chairperson, Miss Lauren Aducol.
Thank you, Ms. Shalona. To our beloved UAP Commission on Education Executive Director, Architect Junar Tablan, our ever supportive chair for UAPSA, Architect Rosano Bobby Baradi, ably supported by its members of the Committee on UAP Student Auxiliary, our distinguished and respectable national officers led by Ms. Maxine Andrea Lumbera, National Board of Directors, chapter presidents, candidates, ladies and gentlemen of the UAPSA community, a pleasant afternoon to all of you. First and foremost, we would like to express our deepest gratitude to the people behind the resounding success of the 2021 meeting de Avance. To our chair for UAP Student Auxiliary, Architect Bobby Baradi, and to the incumbent UAPSA national officers, thank you for the immense trust and support that you selflessly accorded to us. To our hardworking COMELEC commissioners, creative media, and technical committee, thank you for your expertise and dedication. This event would not be possible without your help. To our candidates for UAPSA national officers, we sincerely recognize your efforts and sacrifices that you invested in this organization. All the platforms that you have brainstormed and planned vigorously for the betterment of UAPSA and its members are deeply appreciated. And to the UAPSA community, we appreciate your coming forth and attendance in this year's meeting de Avance. On behalf of the UAPSA Commission on Elections, we would like to thank the outgoing chapter presidents from areas A to D, together with the National Board of Directors, for taking your time to exercise your right to vote this election. Truly, your volunteerism is a seed of heroism blossoming in the fertile soil of our nation. May you once again exercise your right to vote in the coming 2022 presidential elections. This has been Lauren Aubrey Aducul, the chairperson for Committee on Canvassing, wishing you all a blessed and safe day ahead.
All right, thank you so much, Miss Lauren. And that concludes our event this afternoon, mga kayu-APSA. But of course, you know the drill. Hindi kompleto ang ganap kung walang picture. Kaya requesting everyone to please turn on their cameras, those who are in Zoom, if they can, and get ready to smile. Show your best smile. Ayan. If you can also use our Zoom background, that it's better. So, ayan po. Pasignal na lang po to our COMELEC if everybody is already prepared. So ayan, maraming salamat po ulit to all our kayu-APSA who has been with us this afternoon. I hope that you will exercise your voting rights this UAPSA national elections and even sa halalan 2022 for our presidential elections in the Philippines. So maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat. So again, okay na ba? If everybody has turned on their their cameras, and ready na po. Ayan, so let's smile in 3, 2, 1. Alright, grabe na po yung screenshot. Isa pa po. Alright, wear your best smiles in 3, 2, 1. All right. Maraming salamat po again to everyone for the announcements. Please like and follow the official Facebook page of UAPSA Commission on Elections. And you can also reach us through email at comelecupapsa.2021@gmail.com. And everybody, maraming salamat po ulit. Again, don't forget to register and vote this UAPSA National Elections 2021. Makiisa, makibahagi, magrehistro na. I'm Shalona Gain Ledesma Boco, your host for this afternoon, wishing you a pleasant day ahead, mga kayo-APSA. See you virtually!